Welcome to another episode of Around the 412. I am not Tyler. I am Smitty. With me today, we got Herb and Sarge.
Hello.
Sad.
No Tyler. We wish him a fun vacation.
Good luck with coronavirus.
Yeah, he's going to Hawaii. I think he left today. He's gone for 10 days. So his sister's getting married, so congratulations to her. Congratulations to the whole family. We're not even sure if he's going to be on next episide, depending on when we record, because, like I
figure it
said,
out.
10 days. Not exactly sure when we're going to record. But we are part of the Pod Hub Network, and I think Sarge would like to tell you guys about our sponsor.
Yes. let me pull it up exactly.
How awkward or bad will this be? 10 out of 10.
He said he wanted to read it, so.
Yeah.
All right, so the presenting sponsor is Keeks Barbershop.
Closer
It's
to
an
your
old
face.
what?
Closer to your face.
My bad. It's an old-fashioned barbershop, and every Tuesday he has $5 off for military, first responders, and nurses. He's open from 11 to 7, Tuesday through Friday, and Saturday 9 to 4 at 180 Brighton Avenue, Rochester, PA, 15071. He actually gave my first fade.
Ooh. Yeah, and you threw in the zip code there, too. But, yeah, that is Keeks Barbershop. They are the sponsor for Around the 412. As promised, if you guys saw on Twitter, we have Jared Oliva of the Pirates with us today. Jared, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? Thanks again for having me.
Of course, this is the third time you've been on here. It's always fun. You know, we try to stay unbiased, but we do say you are our favorite guest that we have on here. We have great conversations. I know last time we tried to wrap up the show, and you ended up spending another 45 minutes talking with us about Kyler Murray. So, yeah.
Oh, that's true. I do remember that one, man. I always have a good time being on talking with you guys, man.
Of course. So, we have you on to talk about you. But first question, I gotta ask you. I don't know if it's a question or just give us some analysis. I got to know a little bit about O'Neal Cruz. What is this guy like?
Cruzy?
Yes.
Man, he's awesome. He's fun to be around. I was with him in the fall league. Got to be with him, in Altoona for a month and a half or so. And now big league camp being together. He's a fun personality, man. Everyone tends to gravitate towards him. Even though he's more of a quieter kind of guy, but also when he walks in the door, everyone notices him coming in at 6'7", 6'8". He just keeps getting taller. But man, he's super talented. Everyone knows about what he can do on the baseball field. But honestly, he's a great teammate, cool to be around. Respects the game, respects the people around him. So I like him a lot, man. Cruz is a good dude.
Yeah, because from what I've seen, like, in batting practice, it always seems like you're, like, real close watching him. What is it like watching him take batting practice?
It's like watching Slenderman.
Yeah, man. He's yeah. I remember in the fall league. You guys probably haven't been out to the Arizona spring training sites, but in the Salt River Field they have the batter's eye. I think it's like 415, 420 to center. Batter's eye. A couple rows of cacti. Up top. Only fitting for Arizona. And I remember the first batting practice he put one on. I think the third row of cacti, and everyone just kind of stopped what they're doing, to admire, like where that ball just went. And these are with the minor league baseballs too, it's not the big league balls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's cool to be around with them, and like most BP groups, we're together, so I get to watch him, and he's 6'7", just super super relaxed, in the box, very loose. That works to his advantage because, when he gets all those, long levers working, he can definitely put damage on the ball.
Cool. So I want to jump back to last season, but first, I didn't have this originally as a question, but you just mentioned about the baseballs. I did see that there was, there's a lot of talk on Twitter about them actually, like, de-juicing the baseballs a little bit this season. Is that something that you actually have, like, noticed? Is that a thing? Or is that just, like, people talking?
I've heard people talk about it. Honestly, I haven't really been, using the big league balls, enough, consistently,
Right.
not until, off the big league camp here. But I know they're, obviously last year, AAA, they used, like, unquote, the big league baseballs. And I believe AA this year, they're trying to use those same baseballs as well.
Okay.
I've heard stuff of, de-juicing them or, whatever you want to call it. Maybe not, tie them, as tightly wound or whatever. But there's nothing been, officially said or done in that regard.
Right. Okay. All right. So yeah, like I said, I want to take a jump back to last year because the last time you were on here was actually just a little bit before last season started. We actually didn't even
Yeah.
know where you were going to end up playing last year. It ended up being Altoona. We came out, saw you guys a couple times, and everything. So I know you probably don't want to talk about like the low lights of the season too much, but it was part of the season. You suffered that concussion on opening night last year?
Yeah. Opening that, not how you ideally want to start, your first day of season.
Right, right. And then we all know, well, I don't know if we all know, if anybody listening knows, but we know about that journal that you keep and everything like that. And at some point, you wrote in there, what was it, new season or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. So, yeah, spot on. So, yeah, the first, come back from that concussion, it was a week and a half or so. I can't remember like how long. But, you just want to get back and start playing right away. Like any, competitor athlete. I felt fine. We cleared all the, test symptoms. All that was good to go. But, I don't know, you just kind of don't feel like yourself for, a little bit. Maybe that's just, taking, a week and a half off of playing, you're trying to like catch up. But a mixture of that. And the biggest thing was just the jump from, going from A ball to double A. The learning curve, as they kind of put it. And, it was a struggle, man. It was a struggle the first, it was probably a good month and a half, honestly. Really kind of, tested me, what I won't say what I believed in and stuff, but, what I was working on, at the baseball field. And then, literally it came down to right before, June 1st hit. Really started work, with our hitting coach, John Memley, and just kind of, I won't say start from scratch, but it was kind of like, hey, man, like, you understand what you're talking about, like, obviously, I need some help. I'm trying to figure out, how to get things going again. Like, let's work, let's start from almost ground zero, build it back up. And then, it was later, hit June 1st, really grab that journal. I'll keep all my at-bats, all my, all the games, notes from the game, pitchers, organizations, I mean, you name it. Sometimes wait for me to just kind of reflect on the day, give me a good game plan for the next day, especially over the course of, pro ball season. You just need those little things to, keep you on track, keep, a plan in place, so days don't get monotonous. Wrote new season, just kind of figured, hey, this is going to be, turning point in my year. Now I'm going to, kind of recommit myself to, my values, core values as, like a player, what got me there, why did I kind of get away from it a little bit? Just got back to being like kind of who I am. As kind of easy and simple as that sounds. And then, over the course of time, it slowly, more quality at bats came to play, and, felt like I was contributing more to the team, which is honestly the biggest factor. Because before I was like, man, I'm playing defense. I'm hardly getting on base. I can't really steal bags, can't score runs. I was just like, I just don't feel like myself. Kind of felt embarrassed. I remember telling the coaches. But looking back at it, I mean, I'm kind of glad it happened. As weird as it, seems to say, because it made me realize also like, hey, don't shy away or don't, stray away from, what got me to this point. Everyone wants to evolve, grow on, who they are as a person, who they are as a player. But it doesn't mean you need to completely change yourself. So I was like, that was an important life lesson. It showed me also, gave me the confidence of, man, I could be hitting, 180 or whatever it was, a month and a half, 2 months into the season, and be able to, turn it around, be more myself. We put in countless hours of work on the field, before the game. And kind of at the very end to, be named a end of season all-star and, get the invitation to the fall league. So it's kind of, it was a cool, moment to kind of look back on and be like, man, coming from where it started or, where we're at in the midway point, we got ourselves to, here. Cool to look back on. Really cool.
Yeah, I saw, Sarge, you were shaking your head when we were talking about the journal. So you didn't know that was, because I believe that we had talked about that before, but there was also an article that was written by somebody. I don't know if that was, Jared, do you know who wrote that article about the journal? Was it Nesbitt or no?
There's been a few people, obviously, because once it kind of got around, even though it's, journal's been something I've been doing for years and years. But also, I don't go around, hey, I write in the journal, tell everybody, this is my baseball book, my baseball journal. No, it kind of got around. Someone from, MILB, I remember, I think there's an article or two written. And, like I said, it's been something I've been doing for years. It's not something I just kind of picked up on. Started as a way in college for me just to log at bats to kind of see how I was doing in the fall to try to make the team. And then slowly just kind of evolved and became more detailed with, counts or quality at bats or, hits, what pitcher I was facing. I mean, the list goes on and on. Now it's, organizations, whether stuff happened, on defense, stealing bases, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. So
Just
this is
notes from the game.
This is very detailed.
Yeah.
So, do you know of anybody else that have any of your teammates seen what it's done for you and maybe picked up doing the same thing or?
Yeah. There's been a fair share of guys who ask about it, and a lot are interested. I would say when, I guess they've seen me kind of writing it or me, just go through it because, like I said, I'm not just carrying this thing around, flaunting it in everybody's face or anything. I mean, it's something I keep to myself. I carry with me, everywhere I go. The baseball field and stuff. I got it from, I've heard other, big league guys and stuff. They'll keep a book, basically same thing. They'll write down what they did against certain pitchers or, organizations, kind of the same idea. And I'm like, I like that. I remember hearing that, when I was, really young. My dad being around the game, uncle being around the game. So I'd always hear that and be like, that's something I wanted to do. Honestly, I got the idea from, obviously, like I said, trying to make the team at college, but then, it kind of just evolved from, the coaches I had there, them writing on note cards, their goals for the day, their plans for the day, what they wanted to accomplish. And I was like, I like that a lot too. So I started doing that and writing sticky notes, put them on my wall each day, and it kind of translates, to the game. It gives me a plan for, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to work on? Maybe to-do list. And then, the journal is, kind of, I won't say the results, but what happened in the game. And like I say, it just keeps me on path, gives me a objective for the day. And just like a plan, because, you can go, how many games in minor league season? 140 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do that, every day. I feel I can keep guys more focused, more locked in, and can other guys, if they love writing down stuff. It's great. I feel like it's great for me. But I'm not gonna force anybody. Hey man, if you want to, get your season back on track, start writing stuff down, start getting on a journal, because that's not gonna work for everybody.
Start charging them to give advice. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. put a little invoice in the locker.
Yeah.
But no, it's something, I think guys can respect. Everybody has their own. Everyone does things a little differently, whether they, just have it all stored up top or they like looking at video, because I mean, we could go back through our, analytics kind of system and pull up any video, any at bat from the course of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have that all available.
Wow.
I just like writing it down, man. It's just something easy for me I can remember it better if I write it down. But that not everyone's gonna operate like me, and I understand that. So, but that's the cool part, just kind of seeing, especially now at the big league level here, what guys do to prepare, how they learn, how they reflect on. You just realize everyone's different, man. You just got to find, what works for you.
Right. I think that, I don't know if he would. It just similarly, the way that you're talking about your guys' attention to detail, and we've had Travis Swaggerty on here before, kind of the same thing. I mean, as we talked about, you weren't getting the results, but, you were sticking to the process, maybe seeing what you could tweak here or there, but overall knowing what you were capable of. And Travis is kind of the same way. He doesn't really put all of his stock into the results that he's getting. It's more about the process. So I could see Travis maybe doing something similarly there too, as far as a journal, but he also seems to be more on board with, as you mentioned, being able to go back and watch video, and that's kind of more his thing. So, but like you said, to each your own. whatever works.
No, yeah, spot on. I mean, yeah, some guys. I mean, honestly, so I've been around some guys. They don't even want to think about the game. After the game's over, and it's like, okay, you have to understand. Maybe they need a little couple hours away from it. Forget about what happened. But
Decompression.
other guys might get in there early. Yeah. And then some guys want to look at video the next day. So everyone just operates different. But I think it's important to have a consistent thing you do to help you learn, help you make those adjustments, because over the course of the year, man, I mean, if you can get back on track, it only takes you, a game or two. If we want to get more detailed, in that bat or two, if you really know what you're doing, then pitch to pitch,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about making those adjustments to get back to, I mean, everyone's going to be hot and cold, but I mean, just get back to being who you are. The quicker you can do that, quicker you can help the team. And also, you want to win at the end of the season. That's what everyone's trying to do.
Right. And speaking of helping the team, you won the MVP at Altoona last year, and then, as you mentioned, went on to the Arizona Fall League, made the All-Star team there. What was that whole? I mean, just kind of like recap for us your last season, I guess, the year in Altoona.
Yeah, you just made me smile a little bit because we talked about just kind of being an end of season All-Star and invite to the Fall League, but after being named the Curve Altoona MVP was something really, really cool. Really special. And then, like I said, the All-Star game in the Fall League was something I'll never forget. My first kind of All-Star, I was an end-of-season All-Star, but there isn't like a game or anything, for the season. That's at the mid-season point. To be a part of that in the Fall League, really, really cool. Family, friends got to come out. Like just kind of my first real All-Star experience, and just being around, I hate using the word prospects, but like prospects, in the minor leagues, top baseball players in the minor leagues. The platform we were on, really, really cool. I mean, definitely a day I'll never forget. But yeah, just kind of seeing what we're talking about earlier, where or how the season started. I remember just being in my locker some days, just like, man, how are we going to do this thing? Like, how are we going to kind of get back to being who I am? I kind of, was trying to build off a good season in High A the year before. And like I said, just kind of felt a little embarrassed. And then to go from, that stage to, slowly working my way back, putting in the hours, really understanding, who I was as a hitter, what Coach John Nunley, what, Michael Ryan, all these other coaches were saying, Paniagua, even Joel Hanrahan. And then to be at the end of Fall League, cap it off with, kind of the All-Star game or, being the All Arizona Fall League, whatever it was. Just cool to look back on. Just makes you realize how, baseball, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You always hear the analogy, but until you, I don't say until you kind of experience something like that, but it makes you realize, just how humbling this game can be. And just how, you start focusing on the work, focusing on the preparation, focusing on just helping the team win, first off. How individually, your numbers, your stats will tend to favor, if you play, team first baseball.
Right. Okay. I have a couple questions for you about your game before talking about your spring training experience to this point. So, I saw the interview that you did with I don't know if it was MLB Pipeline or one of the guys that covers minor leaguers, and I think that there was something in there, not word for word what you said, but something about tweaking your game or adjusting something. Like at every level that you get to. So from the point that you were drafted to now, what all have you changed about yourself as a player since you were drafted?
Oh, wow. Good question there, Smitty.
Thank you.
You know what? It's coming from college ball, and then, you go through the draft, and then, I was lucky to go to, Morgantown, our, short season affiliate. Really they just let you play the game of baseball when you're there. Not to try to tweak too many things, but that's where I kind of learned to, from our coaches, Brian Esposito, especially like how to be a professional baseball player. I literally remember our first road trip. I mean, it had to have been, we lost a tough game. I think we got smacked around a little bit. Espo can be a pretty intense guy at times, so we're all kind of expecting to get this, stern talking to after the game. And literally, he came in and, he was kind of pissed off, but it was nothing about the game. It was about how we need to pack the bus correctly, how to pack your personal stuff, in one luggage, pack your baseball stuff in the other, how to, kind of stack around the bus. I mean, it was something we totally did not expect.
Right.
But it was just kind of like first lesson of, hey, here's how you kind of be a professional, pack the bus, pack your personal stuff, make sure all your stuff's in line. And I was kind of like, okay, all right. And then, as the season, that was 2 months or so goes on, you're around new guys, you develop those relationships, but, you really start to realize, okay, we're playing like every day now. College, you play on the weekends, maybe some midweeks. But it's like, no, this is a game every day. You don't have that off day break, once a week to, reset or do whatever it is. So it's like, man, I got to realize, what do I need to do each day to kind of like hit that reset button, or like literally what I was talking about with my, sticky notes, like develop a plan for that day. And so that was a great experience. We had instructs after, next level, going up to high A. That was first full season, so it was really like, hey, you got to play every day now, but you got to play every day for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Really that's when you started to realize the talent that there is, I would say, in the minor leagues. Florida State League, I mean, there's a lot of good ball players, just a lot of raw talent at that level. So I remember as a hitter, it's especially like, hey, you got to learn to hit your fastball. There's a lot of velocity going on in that league. And yeah, like I said, you just had to be ready to hit it. So that was kind of, I don't say an adjustment challenge, but, made you realize like, hey, if I get in those leverage counts, like this time to do damage, this time to be on time, can't afford to be late. And, obviously there's probably some more, little, I don't say little details, but, how to operate yourself, how to handle your body. Obviously I've always ate, pretty well, nutrition wise, staying on top of it, but over the course of a season, really making sure you're putting the right stuff in your body to be ready for the next day. Hydrated, because Florida summers can be brutal at times. But, and then, from A-ball to AA, you got to hit your fastball, but then pitchers get better. Everyone gets better as you move up. So now, pitchers can handle their secondary stuff a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So really now it's kind of, we're working like the game within the game. Situations when we played a National League affiliate, like the pitchers hit, and I didn't realize I don't say how much the game changes, but the game within the game, how much you got to realize, like little things when those pitchers are hitting, in terms of like, I remember like, I would hit lead off a little bit. Pitcher would get out, before me. And, I'm not saying this is like a for sure common rule. It's almost like an unwritten rule of baseball, but, hey, pitcher, grounded out or something. He's jogging back to the dugout.
Take the
like,
first pitch.
Coach would get, coach would say, hey, take the first pitch. And I was kind of like, what, why? They give your pitcher some time, sit down, get a cup of water. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like little things like that, to where you're like, you scratch your head on, but you go, man, okay, you're right. Obviously on the defensive side, how to handle, substitutions, and, obviously pinch hitting at the proper times with the pitcher coming up, how you want to handle the bullpen, start to get a better sense of that. AA, man, it just cleans up. The game cleans up and gets, a little bit cleaner, a little faster. You got to really have a plan, because if not, you'll get, I won't say exposed, but you'll struggle. It's not, I won't say easy as high A, to where, you can sit on your fastball and, I don't know, chase a slider in the dirt, 2 times and get another fastball. Like, if you show a weakness, I mean, they're gonna hit on those weaknesses until you kind of prove otherwise. And that's what makes it fun, man. It's a challenge. There's some of the key points, I guess, moving each level, going up one at a time. Just what I've noticed. Obviously, it's not like one solid thing. You can go down the list, but those are the first things that come to mind.
Right. Okay. Sarge has a couple questions for you, so you just start with one of them right now because it kind of ties in.
Hello,
Hit me,
Jared.
Sarge. What do you got?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
So one question I had for you was, obviously, because you're humble, so you're probably going to say a lot of things, but what are a couple key things you think you have to work on yourself to really push yourself to get called up?
Yeah. I feel like I've had a good grasp on my baseball skills, I guess, going through the minor leagues, in terms of being able to run, playing good defense in center, running balls down, working on the arm strength, being able to barrel up some baseballs, make good solid contact. So the last thing for me, I feel like, in my baseball maturity is how do I really tap into that power. I know it's there. It's one of those things that I can hit BP. I can work on stuff, and I know I have the capabilities to drive the ball out of the ballpark and stuff. But it's like, hey, what does that look like? What's the next step? So this off season was tailored around trying to understand how my body works a little more efficiently, I guess is the term. While in the batter's box, what allows me to be able to drive the ball more consistently. And just understand what I'm doing. And, that just go along with what I've been doing in the past. I've been being able to get my walk rate, up a little bit, each level, try to cut the strikeouts down, a little bit each level. But just being able to, run hard, put the ball in play, get on base, being able to steal bag, get in scoring position for the team. I believe all of that, is something that's unique and, helps me stand out. But I think the power would be I won't say the final piece, because, you're always learning, you're always evolving as a player. But being able to tap into that more, I feel like would put me in an even better spot, I guess, to impact, the big league team in a positive way.
All right. Okay. We know that a lot of your game is predicated on speed. I would say that's a fair assessment of your game. So when
Oh,
you
I
are
agree.
on base as a base runner, what are you looking for as far as, like, from a pitcher that tells you, okay, I'm taking off here?
Yeah, that's another really good question. And it's something I'm trying to work on, man. It's how do I put it? I've been lucky to have some really good first base coaches. With High A, Adam Godwin, John Nunley, Corey Wimberly in the fall league. We got Tark Brock here. They're able to see things, with the pitcher, whether it's their, shoulder movement or something before they lift their leg, or their head, their head nods, just any little detail, they can pick up on, when they can, tell me that when I'm on first base, it's definitely an edge, helps me out. But I'm trying to get better at picking that up on my own, because when I get on first base, obviously I'm always kind of looking to steal, unless I get the red light, or just depending on the situation of the ball game, obviously. But man, I can't look at the whole entire picture, when I'm out there. It's just something I got to zone in on, whether it's just his feet. If we have scouting reports, whether he has a good move or not, maybe I'll be a little more, cautious, when first getting off, depending if he picks, when he's coming up or when he's come set. But really, it's, I won't say anything too difficult for me. I'm just looking at his feet more than anything. But, unless we have that edge, or, we pick up something from the dugout to where, we're on to, like, he's on, he just does a 2-look every time and he pitches, then I'll take that into account and kind of roll with it. A lot of it's pretty simple when I'm on first base, just looking at the feet. And then when it comes out to stealing the bag, the count, is big, who's up to bat, or some of his tendencies. Yeah, when I'm actually looking at, man, I can't look at the whole body. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll just zone in on the feet or something, or
Mhm.
like I said, whatever tip we have.
Gotcha. Okay. So as we kind of touched on already, you're in your first big league camp with the Pirates. You actually got the last name on the back of that jersey this year.
Unlike Bly.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, unlike Bly. You actually both hit home runs yesterday though, so that was cool. But
How cool was that, man?
yeah.
That was awesome. That was awesome. We both got to do that.
and his drove you in, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah. But anyway,
And you were a wild pitch away from a grand slam, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
shaking my
I
head.
think it was the pitch. Yeah, it was the pitch before.
God damn.
Got through a slide. Yeah, got through a slider in the dirt, and then we got to move the runners up.
Yeah.
And then
Hey,
it was
runs a
the
run.
next pitch.
Um,
Yeah. Hey, no, I wasn't saying anything.
but so who called you to let you know that you were getting the invite there to big league spring training? What was that call like?
Yeah. So I kind of had a good feeling. I'd get invited. Considering how the season Altoona went, and then building off the fall league what happened. So I kind of had a good idea. I was obviously prepping for that. But getting the official word was from our farm director, Larry Broadway. He gave me a call. This is probably early January. It was actually right before I flew out for a hitting camp over here in Florida. But yeah, he called me and just kind of wanted to check in how things were going and what I was working on. Just kind of like, I don't say normal talks we usually have, but he just wanted to keep updated with how I was doing. And then he also gave me the news of hey, I'd like to officially invite you. Come big league camp. He said I deserved it. Earned it. So that was cool to also hear. Officially.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
the word.
Herb wants to say something. But I was just thinking in my head how funny it would have been if after just having that nonchalant conversation, he's like, "All right, see ya," and never told.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's terrible.
That's why I kind of had a hunch. I think he texted me earlier that morning, just saying hey, give me a call when you can or something like that. So I kind of had a good feeling about it. But yeah, if we just talked about what's going on, then all right, we'll see you in a month or so. But no, it was cool. It was cool though. It was like I said, something I kind of expected, but also when you get the official notice, that's what really sets in. And it's really cool. You can start telling your friends and family about it. Kind of set the travel plans, because getting the car shipped out there, finding a spot to live, all the non-baseball stuff that not everyone really thinks about. That's when you really got to start getting those that process rolling.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool.
Cool. Yeah. Speaking of which, how has camp been so far for you?
Yeah. No, it's been great. It's kind of flown by a little bit. We've been here almost a month. Between working out at Pirate City, before the games start up. But it's been really, really cool. You're around all the big leaguers. There's, I think we had probably around 55 guys or so. So it's developing those relationships with the guys that I have not played with yet, or whoever might be new guys we brought into the organization. Welcoming them in, and it's a cool thing because obviously a lot of guys there or here have big league experience, big league time. I think all but maybe like 6 or 7 of us. I'd have to double check the numbers. So basically everyone's played in the big leagues. They've gotten to that point. Now the next thing is how to stay there. But since games have been starting up, it's cool to see the routines everyone has. Clubhouse opens around 7:30 every morning. That's when a lot of guys start to roll in there. 9:30, we have the like practice or meeting or whatever it might be. So those 2 hours in between, guys, you always talk about big leaguers, they have a bunch of freedom and all that stuff. And it's yeah, they do, or I guess we do. But it's because guys are more dialed into what they need to do. If they know they got to get their workout in, they know they got to get hot tub, cold tub, contrast or rehab or whatever it might be. Look at video. It's something you don't have to tell guys to do. Guys are more inclined to do it on their own because they want to get better. It's their career. Literally. So that's been the cool part because I like to think I have the strong work ethic, and just seeing how many other guys take pride in getting extra reps in, doing the little things. That's what makes it cool, and it makes you realize like, hey man, like no one just kind of strolls into the yard and straps it on 30 minutes before game time and rolls out there and does the thing. It's like no, there's a lot of work behind the scenes for everybody, from pitchers I noticed to the hitters. Every guy has their routine pretty down packed. So just being able to see that before the games, and then now the games start up and compete against the other teams, other big leaguers. It got me a little nervous, got me a little anxious, not gonna lie, the first week or two, or first week, and then kind of after that settled in, you just realize, man, you're here to play baseball. You're here for a reason. Slow the game down, calm down, whatever it needs to be, and then just go out and do your thing and like have fun.
All right, cool, Sarge.
Has anyone talked to you about like advice about the big leagues? And if so, who was it?
Ooh, advice on the big leagues. No, I had a talk with Gerard Dyson and Charlie Tilson. They're kind of locker mates with me. But there's been numerous talks about kind of just like the big leagues. But this was the other day, which is kind of funny. And they're just saying how like, hey man, your debut, you got like superhuman powers that day. They're just saying like, man, you just swing, do whatever it is. He goes, put the ball in play. He goes, there's so much adrenaline rolling, with it. He goes, it's almost like you have superpowers, I thought that was kind of funny because both of them were like, oh, that's so true. So that's kind of funny to hear, to see. But no, honestly, the cool part, like I was saying, like all the outfielders I'm with, have played in the big leagues. So when we're getting our work in, out there, a lot of the talk is, like, hey, when, the stadium's, packed in New York or whatever it might be, like, hey, this is kind of like how we got to communicate. This is how we got to, like motion to each other. And it's stuff, I mean, the minor leagues, you could play, some packed stadiums, but, nothing's going to be like the, big league stadiums, to where you literally can't hear at times. And just, rolling from that and talking to guys in the cage, just adjustments they make. I could come up with, many other, just like, I don't know,
Okay.
little details, little stories about that. But yeah, it was kind of funny. That was one we talked about the other day that I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah. So that kind of plays into my next question because has like the reality of you becoming a Major League Baseball player really like set in for you? Like I'm right on the cusp of this. Or are you trying to put that thought like on the back burner, knowing that there's still work to be done before getting to that point?
And if you are, I'm sorry, Smitty's bringing it up.
No. I love these questions. These are really, really good.
We're almost to the fun ones, so.
We're almost to the fun.
Yeah.
When you're in Double A, they always say like, hey, you're right there. We saw some guys get called up from Double A, but it doesn't really like hit you yet. You're like, no, they're still Triple A. There's still a couple more jumps. Going to the fall league, kind of like the same thing. It's like, man, a lot of these guys are really talented. See dudes get picked up in the Rule 5 draft, or a lot of them get invites to big league camp. So it kind of like sets it a little more in terms of like, hey man, we are a little closer than we think. And then honestly being here, I realize the capabilities I have as a player, and I know if I could maximize my potential on the field, that I'll be able to help a big league organization. But it's like once you're here and it really starts, I wouldn't say setting in, but it's hard not to the opening day. I got to start, which was super, super cool. But just being on the field with other big league names around the field, the other dugout, it got me a little nervous. Like I said, not gonna lie. But the more I just kind of like trust what I'm doing. As after that first few games, first week went on, it sets in more and more of like, hey, like I'm starting to learn more how to become even more efficient with my time, or be more smart with what I'm working on. because that's what the other big leaguers do. Or I want to be better than the other big leaguers. So like I said, it sets in more and more because now that you're around the guys more often, you can develop those relationships. You just feel like I don't say you should be there, but I guess you feel more welcome. But just staying true to who you are, doing the work. Guys around you notice. It's important not to try to be someone you're not, or try to change what you're doing just because you're up here. You're here for a reason. So when I really started believing that, that's when I really started. I feel like each day I was getting better and better. It's been fun, man. It's been fun. But yeah, you realize how close you are, and just how real the opportunity is to be here, and just how close you are to making that dream a reality.
Yeah. And especially with, I think it was about a week ago, you started with the entire starting lineup. Greg was DHing and you were in right. That had to have been cool.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's cool to, it's just cool to be around there and play, all three outfield spots and continue what I've been working on. And, I mean, the more you're around, the guys and stuff, they get to know you better. That makes you just more relaxed. And often when everyone's more relaxed, less tense, you can just start enjoying the game and letting your ability show.
Right. Okay. I got one more question. I accidentally skipped over it before Sarge asked you his couple ones just to get a little bit of a non-baseball in there, of course. The last baseball question I have for you. It's obviously a different front office than the one that drafted you, and I don't know how much time you spent with the coaching staff in previous years, but that's also different. So what is your first impression being around those guys in spring training?
Yeah, another really good question. You guys are on it.
Hey, listen, that's what we're doing.
You know what? I mean, I wasn't able to really be around, the big league staff too much, from years previous. Even when you go up to back up a game or two, I got to know the outfield coach, Kamara Barti, a little better than, I guess some of the other coaches. But you know what? With the staff that's here right now, I remember hearing, I guess the interviews or press conferences, or just, word, from other coaches, I coached within this organization, I coached with them, and everyone raves about, who we have. And then, when you're here, I mean, you really start to believe it. It's a cool atmosphere to be around. It really is. Shelton, he likes to keep things loose. You always hear it in his press conferences. He wants to have fun. And I think guys, really, believe in that. He lets players, leaders on the team, hey, run the clubhouse, how you guys want. Also, he believes, playing hard, playing the game right. But just having his, I guess, cultural, view on, how he wants his team and, how he picked, his staff. It really all makes sense, and it's cool. It's cool to be around and cool to show up each day, because, all the staff is, their baseball IQ is off the charts. They always, want to help. They're trying to figure out different ways to, communicate stuff to guys, work on different things. And I think that's been really, really cool, really unique. Like I said, I've not been around, big league staff, as consistent or, frequent, this one right here. But, they've all, been around the game long enough to know what to do, what to work on, how to be better than everyone else, what steps, we need to take to get there. It's just cool to kind of see their plan kind of evolve, so far in camp. It's only been, 3-4 weeks. So got a couple more weeks left to go. But just hearing, how they talk, how they want to do things, it's super encouraging, and, the energy is just kind of infectious.
Right. Okay. All right, Sarge, go ahead.
Wow.
What?
So do you have a number preference when you do get called up, or is it just whatever's available?
Wow, you guys are on it, man. I've thought about this a couple times. You know what? To be honest, a lot of numbers are taken. I would love to have been 42 because I worked in college, but obviously that number.
Oh yeah, that is retired, huh?
Yeah, that'd be a tough sell.
Legacy and Jackie Robinson.
They should make an exception.
So so I was like, hey, what about 43? I wore 43. I got to Morgantown because obviously 42. I'm not going to be able to wear it in pro ball anymore for Legacy Jack Robinson. Mr. Brault, has 43. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I wore 41 in Altoona. So I go, okay, what about 41? I believe Rick Eckstein, hitting coach, he has 41. So I was kind of going through the list, potential, numbers. But honestly, man, being able to, if you get the opportunity to wear, big league uniform, it doesn't matter what number you get. That'll be something, really cool, something I'll never forget, when the day comes. But I guess it'll be a surprise, when I get to my locker. We'll see what they have in store.
That's it's funny because Jeff wore 72 last year, Hartley, and I'm actually the one that told him that he actually got switched to 32 officially.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because so he said that they texted him and they wanted him to switch to a different number because other numbers had become available. He didn't have to wear, his stupid rookie number that you sometimes get stuck with. And he said that he had asked for 32 at that time. Diaz was still on the team, so they gave him 49.
Yeah.
So it showed him as number 49 on the roster. He said he didn't want 49, so he wasn't going to end up sticking with 49. Then Diaz left, obviously, and I was like, "Hey, I just noticed your number switched to 32 on the roster," and he was like, "Oh wait, really?" So I sent him a screenshot.
He's like, "All right."
And this is
you broke the news. You were the first one.
This is like 2 weeks before Pirate Fest, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, you got the number that you had requested to wear." So, yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just funny to. Like you said, you're just going to show up, and who knows what jersey number you're going to have.
That brings up a good question, because I know Jeff said he hated the pullovers. Do you have a preference in what jersey you wear?
In what jersey?
Yeah, like pullovers or button-ups or vests or...
Yeah, Jeff said it's not comfortable to pitch in the pullovers. That's why we're asking.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, jeez.
If you didn't think about it, that's fine.
Yeah, no, we got to think about it. I mean, button-ups are always so classy and stuff, but, I think Altoona last year we had, like, a couple, like, pullover.
Mm-hmm.
Did we have a pullover one? No. We had all buttons.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Wait, really? You're, like, alternate ones that were kind of like the
Yinzer ones?
Yeah.
Those were
Oh,
right?
Oh, okay.
No, the Yinzers and all the promos were pullovers, but none of those jerseys fit right. All the jerseys were too big.
Oh,
obviously, when you get to the big league level, I mean, you got the stuff pretty tailored to you, so everything fits, feels better.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. I'll probably still stick with the button ups though, just because it's classy look and stuff.
That's fair. I kind of miss the vests.
Maybe the pullovers might not
have. If we brought
have
vests back, that would be kind of sick.
Yeah. I mean, the Rockies never got rid of them.
That's true.
The pullovers.
Pirates used to have them though.
Yeah, they had the red ones.
The red ones. Yeah, people weren't a fan of them.
Yep.
But the pullovers may not have the same impact on position players as the pitchers. But we know Jeff hated those things, so they were happy when with no more Sunday alternates.
Yeah. Plus, whenever I played, I hated having like a bigger number, like a 3 and a 5 next to each other. I always wore 13, but I hated having that like wide, like middle back area, not being able to like move.
This is interesting.
I mean, I'm weird. I know this, but
all right. Sorry,
hey, you thought about this before, so.
Oh yeah.
So I know I asked you this when we were at Permanis too, but this is a new year, so
we need it on record.
Do you have any plans on walk-up music this year?
Man, I'm a Post Malone fan, so I probably got to rock something with Post Malone, but what song? I don't know yet. He might drop a couple songs before season, and I might have to roll with those, but haven't given too much thought on it yet. We actually don't have walk-up music here in spring training. I was kind of expecting we're gonna have to come up with a song or something, but yeah, we have not been asked.
I'm pretty
sure they don't really play music, so.
I'm pretty sure when Post was on Jimmy Fallon the last time, he said something about he was coming, like he had his album that was like preparing to come out this upcoming summer. So
yeah, they back.
Oh,
up
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might get some new material for
you never know. It might be the summer, 2 years from now. But
It's true.
I full on am
Try
gonna.
not to get my hopes up too much.
Yeah, I'm full on gonna request a song, by the way, but I'm struggling to remember the name. What was the song that Post played that you didn't know?
Oh, it was something. Hold on,
I can't look it up because Jared's on my phone, but I can't remember the name of the song. And it's pissing me off.
Yeah,
Is it the new album?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. When me and Smitty went to the concert, it was Saint Tropes.
Yeah, Saint
Oh,
Tropes.
I
yes.
had no idea what. I
Saint
knew what
Tropez.
Or
it-
Saint
oh,
Tropez,
okay,
yeah.
Thank you, Jared.
Tropes.
I went
That's
full.
my,
I went
that's
full.
my favorite song.
Amateur
right
hour.
there.
Is it?
Yeah, that's my favorite song.
Okay,
So,
I request that.
the fact you did not know the song. No, I'm kidding.
and then
I think-
then said tropes. Like
I went
this-
I went full white guy that's not cultured because Sarge said tropes.
listen, not too long ago, Jared was telling us we were asking great questions, and now
Now we're amateur
insulting- We're back to
think-
amateur hour.
Jared, I think Candy Paint would be a pretty good one.
That's Bly though.
Yeah, Bly did. That was one of his walkout songs.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's be
Yeah.
stealing.
Oh well.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, you can't go wrong with pretty much any Post Malone. You
Yeah.
know me. I'm gonna be a little biased on it.
Oh, do I fall apart?
Yeah,
Just make it real sad.
What is this guy doing?
yeah, right.
No, but
Yeah, I had Wow last year. I had Wow
Yep.
yeah.
by Post Malone, and then I had Wow Freestyle by Kendrick Lamar.
Ah, I
Yeah,
wondered what that
I had
was.
two Wow songs. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. But no, I had to stick with posting, man.
Okay, this isn't really a question, but obviously right on the cusp of the majors. If it is AAA Indy that you go to, are you aware that there is a Permanis only 3 minutes from Victory Field?
Wait, what?
Yes.
Does that mean we're going to Indy?
Well,
How-
I did not know there's a Permanis over there, but it sounds like we have to go over there and get some sandwiches.
How funny
Yes.
is that there's one like right by they're like, hey, anywhere that there's a Pittsburgh affiliate, put a Permanis right next to it.
Bradenton,
It would
Indy,
only be
Altoona.
fitting, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even West Virginia.
But yeah, man, we got to come up with some more Permani stories. So, yeah.
Oh, we will.
And before you know it, the place is closed and we're still sitting there. So,
That was so
Hey,
funny.
that's kind of a good time, man. It was a good time to catch up and just be able to talk with you guys. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
it's crazy how long ago that was already. But you guys have anything else?
My brain is
Good.
dead.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave you with this, Jared. You've been on here 3 times now. We've obviously met in person. You and I talked a lot. Holidays, birthdays, whatever it might be.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
No.
No, not at all. No.
I've gotten to know you a lot as a person. Like I said, trying to be unbiased, but you're our favorite guest that we have on here. Knowing who you are as a player with your mindset and stuff like that. A lot of people have the talent, which we've talked about. If everybody that had the talent were a major league player, there wouldn't be enough jobs. But
True.
we know
Yeah.
we know about your work ethic, trust in the process, the Buckton process to be exact. And
Right. Hey, still have the shirt, man. Still rock it.
you have fans in us forever, and I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be a successful major league ball player.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you get annoyed that I tweet you so much.
So
Just shift the
I love-
gears.
No, I crack up. But first off, hey, thank you for saying all that. I think I've told you before, but we really appreciate all you guys do and support you guys have and just who you guys are, man. It's cool to kind of have this friendship. It's just something really kind of cool, special that doesn't happen too often. So really cool. Glad I get to talk to you guys on here and talk to you guys off the field as friends too.
Right, yeah, and we like to kind of be the segue for guys that are coming, through the system before they get to Pittsburgh to have to handle
Whatever
our
this
media. So,
is.
yeah, like you said, it's a little bit. We like to get more personal, but yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have the friendships that we do with you guys, and obviously for our fans, but also on a personal level. And we look forward for that continuing and adding guys to the list day by day. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
all right,
That's what
Jared.
it's all about right there.
Always a pleasure. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Hopefully
But
we see you sooner than later.
just for our listeners to hear, I'll wish you right now the best of luck this season.
Awesome. Thank you guys as always, man.
Thank
always
you.
always
Thanks,
a pleasure
Jared.
to be on with you guys.
Absolutely.
All right,
We'll
buddy.
talk
See
to you
you,
guys
man.
soon.
Take
Take
care.
it easy.
All right. So, we had been switching up the way that we had been talking about sports the list, but I think it makes most sense to just talk about baseball, finish up the baseball aspect of things.
Yeah.
I do want to say it's going to be tough because obviously Pirate fans are going to be listening to this, and I'm going to say something that I try to, as I've said, be unbiased. I still want to state my opinions on things, whether go for or against the organization. So I want to start with this article that came out. I think it was Rob Biertempfel about the Pirates talking extensions with some of their young guys that they consider to be the core. I think that I'm in rare company with thinking. It's funny that we just had somebody on here. I'm about to say this right after. I think I'm in rare company with not wanting to extend Josh Bell. I'm not sure where everybody stands on that. I think he is a decent baseball player. I think that he is, a middle-of-the-bat lineup. Like, he has that potential. I don't think he gives you much in the field, as we've seen over and over. You've seen a little bit of improvement, but I don't think it's enough. If we were to get a DH, great, but I wouldn't be shelling out the big dollars that I think he's going to command for a DH. So, for me, I can't get on board with giving Josh Bell an extension. I know that I'm, in rare company thinking that, but...
For me, it depends on the money.
Well, I guess
that's
I'm taking into consideration what I think we're talking about numbers wise, being that he is a Scott Boras guy, the fact that he does have
that is the issue,
that he did have the numbers overall last year, even though as a Pirate fan you can watch each game and kind of see what a roller coaster it was.
Yeah,
the end numbers were the end numbers and they were pretty good. Somebody's going to pay for that type of production.
Yeah,
so long as it continues. We were just talking about though if the balls are de-juiced, that is going to affect his game specifically.
Yeah.
Very much. And, I don't know what the numbers are going to look like this season. I wouldn't be talking extension right now. Now, if he puts together another season, maybe more consistently, where the numbers still end up looking similar to last year, then let's talk extension. There's no reason to do it right now with the control that he has.
I mean, I'd be okay if he signs like a 3-year extension now. 3 years max.
The thing is, too, though, is he has to have more than a half of a good season, though.
Yeah.
Like his numbers
he had one good month.
Well, the thing is, and I was telling, I don't know who it was, but he just, to me, just suited as a DH.
Absolutely.
So it's like he's not
credit. That's what I said about Kutch after the season he had in 2015, and look at him now.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is finding a good center fielder is a lot harder than finding a good first baseman.
Yeah,
because first base, you don't have to be that athletic, but you also
center fielders have a shelf life too because of that speed going down as they get older. So yeah.
For first base, it's just your
sure,
job
make yourself
is,
comfortable.
Yeah, I'm getting comfortable. I don't care.
Your job is to catch, obviously catch the ball at first, but it's also to be able to scoop and field well, which is that's his downfall.
Yeah, his arm is ridiculous.
His arm is.
Let him walk. Let him go to the AL and become a DH.
Are we sure he doesn't need Tommy John?
Well,
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not sure, but
Tommy. Do you mean like Tommy John's arm put on? Because I mean, who knows? We'll see this year, I guess.
Yeah, right.
I think it's tough too. Sorry,
no,
but, he's a very likable human.
Absolutely.
When I met him at Guardian, he was the nicest dude. I walked up to him because I got your picture signed for you guys.
Yeah.
Which Beefy still has yours. I'm sorry.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh.
But yes, I walked up to him before the signing started, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember this shirt, but it's my friend's podcast. He was like, yeah, dude, I love that shirt. So, and I was
probably still wears it.
I said, I know it didn't start yet, but do you mind? And he was like, no, dude, not at all.
Yeah.
He's a likable dude. It's just I wish he was.
He's also I can't imagine. I don't know if he grew up a hockey fan or not. I mean, he was in Texas. There were hockey teams there, but
he's become a Yinzer.
Yeah, I mean, he goes to Penguin games too and stuff. I mean, yeah, so he's kind of embraced the Pittsburgh lifestyle. I really do like him as a person. I wouldn't say that I'm not against the idea of an extension. I'm against the idea of an extension for what I think the dollars are going to look like. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the best way to put it. Now, some of the other guys that you're talking about, I can get behind. This philosophical change that we're talking about with MLB in general, extending these guys maybe even before they play a major league game, because Brian Hayes was kind of thrown into that article too for maybe a guy they could extend. Or, guys with very little service. I mean, the Yoan Moncada extensions I think is fantastic for the White Sox.
Absolutely.
Who was the outfielder that they gave that extension
Eloy.
to? No. There was another one.
Oh.
The one that hasn't played an MLB game yet.
Didn't he get 5 years or something like that?
Who? Moncada?
Yeah, the outfielder you're talking
Oh,
about.
no.
I missed this one.
Yeah, he was
really?
a prospect. Hasn't played an inning
well,
yet.
Yeah, and look at the Phillies did that with Scott Kingery too.
Who still is, the jury's out on him.
Yeah. But that's what I mean is I think that teams are, taking these chances now.
Yeah.
With their guys.
Seattle with the first baseman, I think. What's his last name?
I don't know if it's Robert or Robert.
Richie Sexton.
But that's who I'm talking about.
Richie Sexton.
Did you just throw out a Richie Sexton on?
I did. Your name probably haven't heard in a while.
I
Right.
think his name is Tyler
6-year,
White.
$50 million extension for this White Sox outfielder before he played a game.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the White Sox.
Yeah.
Throwing that money around.
They don't care right
They're-
now.
yeah,
man. They're in win mode.
They're doing
They
some
should be.
things.
That division sucks.
Yep.
See, that's the thing is you look at the Twins, the Indians, two teams that really didn't. I mean, the Twins went out and got Josh Donaldson, who's an aging guy. We'll see what he does this year.
They got Kenta Maeda.
But they were so reluctant on the home run ball last year, which once again, going back to if the baseball's going to be
Josh
juiced a
Donaldson's
little
there.
bit. That's what, yeah.
Oh, did you say that?
yeah. Yes.
It's before.
Josh Donaldson is indeed in Minnesota, folks. But yeah, I just think that they're
Remember when I
poised.
said my brain was dead?
Yeah. I think they're poised to take a dip, and we know about the Indians. I feel like the chat might be going wild about this right
Wait,
now.
is Josh Donaldson a Twin now, or
Yeah. Josh Donaldson signed with the Twins. I don't know if anybody saw that.
It's all beefy.
And then, like I didn't even bring up yet, Josh Donaldson's with the Twins. No, but seriously, Yoan Moncada signed an extension for 5 years, $70 million. They
I'll be
gave
back.
it-
I'm going to go jump off your roof.
He's right back. 6 years, $50 million without playing an MLB game. It's kind of the way that the league's trending.
did Jose Abreu
With-
get 1 year, or was it 2?
I believe it was 2.
Okay,
Um,
because that's the one I thought everyone's saying he was going to go elsewhere. Because I
really?
thought it
Yeah,
was-
see, like, the thing with him is, honestly, at this point, he's not
his numbers.
he's
suck.
obviously not the same player, but he's kind of like the clubhouse mentor for, like, they have the rest of the team is so young. Other than they brought in Yasmani Grandal, which is a great signing for them too. Kind of furthering what I'm getting at is that the White Sox are in a division now where it's kind of open, and we could see them go from one of the worst teams in baseball to competing for the division within just one season because of the structure of that division right now. Obviously, the Royals and Tigers are going to stink. So you really have 3 teams, and you have no idea what the Indians are doing. Could they trade Lindor at some point during the season? They already traded Kluber. Bauer's not there.
I keep hearing Lindor to the Dodgers, and if it happens,
I don't think it's going to happen
It's
after
not now,
Mookie. I
no.
think it was kind of, if they didn't get Mookie, that
Okay.
might have been the
'Cause
direction
if
they go.
they get both, man, I'm done.
Yeah.
I would still rather have Xander Bogaerts than Lindor.
Mm-mm. I don't like Bogarts.
Well, you're a Yankees fan.
No, Bogarts is so good.
Bogarts is very underrated. I mean, what
By
did he have
far.
like last year? He had what, like a 30 double, 30 home run season,
Yeah.
which like
Yeah.
is
Bats about 298.
I think the only infielder that beat him in home runs was Gleyber Torres.
Mm.
Because Gleyber had 38, and then Bogarts had like 33, 35, something like that.
But the other Pirates, that considered for extensions would be Joe Musgrove. Kevin Newman's name was on there.
Brian Reynolds.
Out of those names, honestly, I'm not extending Kevin Newman. I know what the numbers on the surface looked like last year.
Yeah.
The
But look at the
underlying
numbers
numbers-
before that.
Right.
Nice guy. But
And the underlying numbers weren't great either. I would want to see another year of production
Yeah.
like last year
Absolutely.
to consider an extension. Brian Reynolds, I'm all for them extending.
Sign that man to a lifetime contract.
Lifetime contract. I mean, listen, we got to come up. We can't call him Reynolds anymore because he's not a rookie. But we got to come up with something else
Right.
because that's
MVP Nolds.
yeah. Other than us just handing guys the Trust the Buck and Process shirt, that's our second most popular shirt. So
I mean, we are just handing them at this point.
it's interesting, too, because like the Pirates are – this is going to sound weird, but like if they extend these guys, they're in a good spot because these guys are young and they're talented. It's not like they're extending guys who are, suck.
That's what I keep saying. Like last year, the pitching was like exponentially bad.
Yep.
And like I don't have expectations of them this season above like 75 wins. Because I mean, it's the first season of a new coaching staff, first season of a new regime, but it's basically the same on-field product.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked myself into thinking that they're going to be like not good, but like
They might be
in
spoilers.
a lot of games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like the Canadians of the NHL this year.
Okay.
Man, I mean, it's not a bad comparison, but I just hate hearing Pirates and Canadians being connected to each other.
It is Montreal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
Expos.
Musgrove. I mean, they've been marketing him a lot. For him, I would say I would explore a trade first and see what the return would look like. But if it's not, a pretty decent. Oh, let me say pretty decent package. If it's not the haul
You still did.
that you're looking for, then keep him, and I would be fine with extending Joe Musgrove.
Yeah,
I think that he is much like the rest of the pitching staff, both starters and bullpen, going to greatly benefit from the change of pitching coach.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the season looks like for pretty much everybody. I mean, we talked about that
Mitch Keller alone.
on a past show. Like, yeah, pretty much everybody on the pitching staff, there's intrigue. I'm not saying that I'm not going to come out here and say they're going to be the best rotation in the NL, have the best bullpen, but I think that there's a lot of intrigue just because of all the turnover and seeing what these guys can do. Let them play to their strengths. Don't put them in a system where stick to our philosophy. We don't care what you're good at.
Yeah. Honestly, to me, I don't know if I said it last week. I know Ryan said it on North Shore 9 from the bar crawl. This season is going to show how much coaching actually matters.
Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that. I probably didn't hear Ryan say that because of all the background noise we were dealing with that day.
Yes. They
But,
they very well could have used this nice machine instead
yeah.
of a damn Yeti.
Right. But, all this extension talk kind of coming from, as I said, Moncada, but also Christian Yelich getting an extension.
Yes. Good for him.
I love Christian Yelich. I'm
Bad
so
for
mad that
us.
he's a
Good for
Brewer.
him.
I felt like that's not a lot of money for him though.
He might have been able to do better.
That
Milwaukee
extension-
could not give him more than that, but he
No.
could have done better.
That's why I was like, this guy is an MVP 2 years ago.
He just wants to be there.
What a guy.
I know.
There's nothing good about what. Like,
Yeah, so he's
Milwaukee.
making $23.8 million a year, which, I mean, in terms of there's a lot of guys that make more money. than
Josh
that.
Donaldson, I think, makes more than him.
Yeah. Like Yelich is the one guy that when I met him, I said, "Have a good game," and he was like, "Thanks."
I'm assuming he's still with the Marlins at that time.
Yeah.
It looks just like Pete Davidson.
See, I remember
Less butthole eyes.
watching him with the Marlins and thinking this is
Wow,
going to
he's
be
going to be good.
yeah, this is going to be a really good player, but like I wasn't expecting this. Like who would have thought that out of those outfielders with the Marlins, he would be-
Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna.
that he would be the best one.
Yeah. And he's like fun to watch too. Like he's not like a douche.
Did you see
No.
his press conference?
I started it at work and then I got a call.
He got emotional at the end. He was talking about this is like, yeah, he's signing the extension. He's obviously benefiting from it, but he's able to do that because of how many people sacrificed for him. Like that day, it wasn't about him. Think of all the baseball coaches, his parents, everybody that puts everything into it, sacrifices their lives essentially for one person's life just because they know that he has the potential to do it.
Yeah.
And in the end, he's going to be the beneficiary, and then everybody else benefits. I mean, he's going to be given. I can't imagine what he's going to do for his parents after signing this. I'm sure we'll see a video like you always do about what guys do for their parents. But yeah, I'm super happy for Christian Yelich. It's a shame that it's with the Brewers who played against the Pirates, but it's hard for me to not like the guy.
Hey, they don't have a great pitching staff.
What's funny because look at their corner outfielders. One is one of the most hated humans in baseball, and one is one of the most liked humans in baseball.
Yeah. Well,
You know-
yeah, Lorenzo Cain's in center.
Oh yeah, I forgot. about him.
I mean, Keston Hiura's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is there now?
Bill Hader, not Bill Hader.
Oh my God!
Bill Hader.
Oh my God! Bill Hader's a racist.
Josh Hader is with the Brewers. Yeah.
Oh my God! My life is a lie.
Dude.
This may have became my favorite episode. Oh my
I
God!
wish Jared wasn't on it because we could have made it like Josh Donaldson and the Twins.
Yeah.
Or like
It still might be.
Bill Hader.
Oh, it's still gotta be.
Featuring.
Yeah.
Jared Wolf.
Oh man. Yeah. Other than Braun and Hader, I really don't necessarily hate the Brewers. Like I hate the Cardinals and the Cubs.
No, I mean, you
and the
mentioned
Reds,
Lorenzo Cain.
but-
I kind of like Lorenzo Cain, too.
Yeah.
He's very well in center field.
Brett Anderson. I'm just looking at their team. They brought former Pirate Josh Lindblom in.
Good luck with that one.
Freddie Peralta, David Phelps.
David Phelps. Wait, he's
Brandon
not playing?
Woodruff is probably like their ace.
Yeah, which is funny. Jet Bandy.
I'm
if he's
curious to see
still
what they
there.
do about catcher. No, he's not. I'm curious to see what they do about catcher because they let.
They didn't let Grandal go. Grandal went on his own.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, obviously Yelich extension was probably their priority going into the offseason, and they don't retain Moustakas or Grandal, and now you got to replace that. Obviously, as you mentioned, like Keston Hiura, who was kind of up and down last year for contract purposes, is going to be there this year.
Yeah.
So you have him. They brought in Jed Jerko, Orlando Arcia, Ryan Healy's there.
Ryan Healy is nice.
Justin Smoke,
Nice last
Eric
name.
Soto.
Love
They
it.
traded for that second baseman. They made that trade with the Padres, Urias.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think that we kind of have already set our piece on where the NL Central is. Everybody's kind of on this Reds train because of how much they spent, but we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, look at the stadium they're in. Look at their pitchers they have. It's going to be an issue for them.
Every time I see Derek Dietrich, I want to punch him in the mouth.
I like Derek Dietrich.
I hate the dude.
I want him on our team. I said it
Maybe
last year
that's
before
why.
that all happened.
I would
the
have
year
said it
before.
before last year that I wanted him on the team. We
I
talked.
did-
That was actually a
I
topic on here.
still want him on the team.
Yeah. Well, it'd be funny now
Yeah, it'd be like having Brad Marchand on the Penguins.
No.
because you know how guys are. That was almost a thing
I know.
when Crosby. It was before Marchand signed his 8-year extension. Crosby and Marchand played together
In the Olympics.
in the Olympics, and that line was just they were scoring every time they were on the ice, pretty much. And knowing that he didn't have a contract with the Bruins following that year, people kind of thought that it would be a thing, but obviously didn't come to fruition. and
Imagine. There's a world somewhere.
they still hang out. I don't know if you guys have ever
Yeah.
watched the Spit and Chicklets where Crosby
Yeah.
was on, but yeah, his crew's like him, McKinnon.
I was some things in there since
No,
Marchand and him were-
not really.
Really?
It's
How do they not tell him to be less of a douche?
Marchand, Crosby, McKinnon,
Just how
Roman
it is.
Yossi,
Oh.
and Tyson Barrie. That's like the 5.
I don't
That's
know
the
who
crew
last
right
one
there.
is.
You don't.
He's with the Leafs. He used to be with the Avalanche. That's why him
Oh.
and McKinnon are boys.
Sorry.
I'm hurt.
Last couple things to touch on, though, we started talking about hockey. What the hell? In baseball is if you're a Red Sox fan, you're
Hello?
obviously already concerned. Obviously, the Mookie trade, that was what it was.
You are concerned about the current state of your team.
The-
And we are here to tell you it gets better.
Knowing what the Yankees did in the offseason, the Rays have always
what'd
find
they
a way
do?
to be in the mix. But if you're a Red Sox fan, how concerned are you not about the season necessarily, but for Chris Sale in particular?
Oh, very.
Because it was kind of already – it was rumored that he wasn't going to be ready for opening day. He had like a flu-type pneumonia type thing, and, hey, man, I feel you there.
He had the coronavirus.
But now we got this issue
Wouldn't
with
that
his
be funny
elbow.
if that's what somebody had?
No, it was just he said. I believe me, I know. That's
Yeah.
what was funny.
Yeah. Now we got this issue with the elbow. They actually sent the images of the MRI to Dr. James Andrews, which
Yeah.
is obviously never a good thing. They're seeking a third opinion about it now.
Which is never a good
But
thing.
as of
That's
right
what they did
now-
with J-Mo.
Yeah, as of right now, they're saying they don't think that he needs Tommy John.
Yeah. So it was flu/pneumonia, whatever. Came back, shut down from elbow tightness or whatever it was,
Mhm.
forearm tightness. I think he pitched another bullpen or two, and then they shut him down again.
That's the thing is he was shut down last year in like August or September,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Look at the way this man throws. There's a common theme with pitchers who get Tommy John where if you can see the ball behind their back when they're lunging towards the plate, they're going to need Tommy John.
And he's lengthy too. There's a lot of. arm
He
figure
is
there.
a wacky inflatable tube man.
He is very odd looking.
So wants to make that a shirt.
If I had skill,
if I liked the Red Sox, I'd definitely buy it.
well,
No.
I like the Red Sox, so.
But yeah, this is an interesting dynamic. I mean, the Yankees are by no means healthy. That's what we kind of want to talk about.
That's also scary.
You actually mentioned the Gary Sanchez thing. I didn't know about that yet. But Severino, who had to have Tommy John, and Stanton and Judge, neither one of them to be ready for opening day. It
I'm
sounds
so
like.
sick of it.
What if Judge becomes
This is just we talked. I mean, carrying over from last year, how many
Yeah.
guys they had the most man games lost last year in
Sarge,
baseball.
shut your ears. I don't want to hurt you on this. What if Judge becomes the biggest what if in MLB history?
I've honestly thought about that.
yeah,
but, like,
you have to at this point.
It sucks because
Yeah.
like someone so that I like that John Boy guy. I'm sure you know guess
Yeah.
who he is.
Yeah.
The man who single-handedly destroyed all of the Astros organization.
Yeah. Well, I think
Him
he
and Mike
said-
Fires.
He said that the Judge will have an MVP one day, and I was like, man, I don't. He can't stay healthy.
He is Giancarlo Stanton, but he can actually hit the ball,
and he's
in
good
front
at,
of the
and
fence.
He's good at defense.
and he has an arm.
Yeah, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Being a Yankees fan is very frustrating sometimes because it's like all I want to do is see a fully healthy lineup.
It's like being a Penguins fan.
Well, see,
Exactly.
that's the thing is we talk about you can say you're spoiled or whatever, but expectations come from where you feel like the team is at, and you know that the Yankees are one of the 5 teams that pretty much every single year are in a position where they can win the championship, but you haven't seen it recently, a lot due to health.
and a buzzer.
And yeah, that's what I was just gonna say that. But like last
Yeah, there's no
year,
guarantee that they would have beat the NL,
Yeah.
the NL winner anyway. But
well, I said like last year it sucked because I said they are one starter away from being a World Series team.
They got
Well,
they
they
got
got-
literally the best.
They got the starter. Which side note, I know it's spring training. You have to report on everything, but I'm so sick of seeing like Coltrane with like heat emojis. I'm like, he pitched an inning.
Yeah.
But,
And then Miggy takes him deep twice.
Yeah,
And people are complaining about that. And, like, not to stop you, but just because we're on the topic, I'm at work yesterday, and for whatever reason, we have the X on. And Mark Madden's in the microphone screaming, Joe Musgrove sucks. It's spring training!
I actually
Yeah.
screenshotted about Musgrove because I'm like waiting for Musgrove to have a nice season.
yeah.
I
Like,
I will never understand the casual fans of baseball that look at spring training and go, "Oh, this matters."
Smitty said at the Post Malone concert, he said, "I hate two people." He said, "I hate people that take
Two
spring
types of
training."
people.
Yeah.
No, literally two. No.
He said, "I hate when
Me and
people
Sarge.
take spring training too seriously."
Yeah.
And the people who don't. What'd you say? Like, don't take it seriously enough, or something like that.
I said I hate people that don't take it with a grain of salt at all, and people that put too much stock in it.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you are looking for certain things from guys. I mean, I think that it's encouraging when you see a guy like Blake Cederland doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not putting stock in the fact that after 2 games, the potential backup catcher Luke Maley was hitting 667.
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to differentiate there what actually matters for the future of the organization.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, casual fans aren't able to do that.
Yeah.
But people like us, people that are knowledgeable about it,
God,
people that are probably
if you call me knowledgeable, Twitter's going to go off on you.
people that are probably listening to this, they understand that take everything with a grain of salt. But there are things that you want to look for and can be encouraged by.
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely meaningless, is
No.
what I'm saying, I guess.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that guys like Jared are there to play baseball and show what they can do because they're playing for a spot on the major league roster.
Right.
Yep.
There are guys like Joe Musgrove and Keone Kela that are there to get ready and to work on certain
you talk
things.
about like the results for a guy like Joe Musgrove. Who knows what they were telling him to do that day?
Last year with Kela, he was throwing nothing but heaters and getting shelled.
Yeah. Because they probably saying, hey, let's just see the fastball today.
Yeah. And that's
And
probably, I mean, obviously the game with Musgrove yesterday wasn't televised, or 2 days ago, whatever it was at this point. I guarantee you it's, hey, let's work on the cutter today. Let's work on the slider today. If you hang one, whatever, just get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And oh boy, he hung a few.
To go back to the Yankees, I think I'm like in Yankees fandom. I didn't know I was like this, but I'm in the small minority who hates the Brett Gardner extension.
Oh yeah, that's dumb.
That's a small minority.
Listen, I'm telling you, people like Yankees fans love Brett Gardner.
They're so nearsighted.
I'm like, watch the guy. I understand he hit 25 home runs last year.
Yeah.
It's also
You're playing at Yankee Stadium as a lefty,
And he's
too.
Brett Gardner.
With the baseball
Dude,
that
he's a
we-
human testicle. That's what that's what he looks like.
We'll see what
Oh, tell us how you really feel.
I don't like the guy. Whenever me and Beefy were watching the Twins series, I said I feel about Brett Gardner how Penguins fans do about Jack Johnson. That's how strong this is.
wow.
I don't think he's good. He's not fast anymore.
No.
But the only good thing about there's not a good thing about Judge and Stanton being hurt. But Clint Frazier has to be licking his chops
Oh yeah.
because he's like, finally, maybe I'll get. I don't know what he
The
did.
Steinbrenners or the Boone, Aaron Boone?
Aaron Boone, yeah.
Yeah, the Boone.
The Boone.
I feel like I'm high. I'm so sorry, but yeah, they have to hate him in that organization.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's good at baseball. Trade him if you're not going to use him. You can get things out of him.
Exactly. He's an asset. It's a business. Use business assets to get more assets.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm screaming.
Especially when, we're talking about where their pitching is. You could use him as the centerpiece for a deal for a pitcher.
Yeah, I saw they were looking for one from the Mets.
Chris Archer?
Steven Matz.
Yes, but then I got a report saying I read a report that said they're looking at him, and then Steinbrenner said no, we're not. So
Well,
yeah, I would love. I mean, I'm obviously a huge Chris Archer fan. I had business he was in Tampa, but I'd be okay with trading. Clint.
Yeah, he wouldn't need to be part of. I don't think he'd need to be part of a Chris Archer deal though.
no.
No, but
That'd
well,
be-
I mean, the thing is, the Pirates already have an influx of outdoors at this point.
Literally.
Hey,
But I just think if you're willing to give up Clint Frazier, you can go a lot bigger.
may I interest you in Brett Gardner?
No.
May I interest you in trash?
Okay, so let's move along to the world of the NFL, where
Well,
there's not a lot to talk about
Yeah,
with
that's all you there.
with the Steelers, other than we're kind of expecting a tag here on Bud in the coming days. Hasn't happened yet.
Have you read the comments about underneath the Twitter post about that? By the way,
I tried not to read Twitter comments.
I don't know why I do it to myself. Apparently, Steelers fans don't like him. I thought that it was vastly known that he was good at football. And
So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that have reservations about the 1 year of super production. I think that if you are somebody that can read between the lines, actually knows what's going on the football field, you can see that there was ascension year to year. It just wasn't putting everything together like it happened last year. And I think a lot of that falls on the shoulders of Joey Porter, who's no longer with the organization. Keith Butler took back over as the linebackers coach, and we saw what the defense was. For all the crap that Keith Butler gets, he's very good with the linebackers. That was his role when the Steelers' defenses were very good under Dick LeBeau. Regardless of what you think of Keith Butler as a defensive coordinator, he's a very good linebackers coach. As far as Bud goes, it kind of does suck that it was in his 5th and final year of his first contract where he does put up those numbers, because it puts you in a bad spot, and you wonder, what if it is just 1 year of production? What if he never lives up to that again, and we end up paying for what he did for 1 year on a long-term deal? That's why I think the tag is really the route to go for both sides. Knowing that he said, he was asked about it actually after, I believe it was after the Ravens game, the last loss of the season, where he said, "Yeah, absolutely, I'd report. I get it's part of the business. It's an option that the team has to do."
At least he's cool about it.
Yeah, so I don't think that he would, I don't know if he would, show up right away. He might have other plans. I don't know how he works out in the offseason, to be honest with
you. He
you.
could pull Zach Greinke.
But, yeah, I think at the end of the day, he'll end up being there.
So apparently in the MLB, you don't need to show up until a certain day. Like even
Well, Aaron Otto did that too with the Rockies, yeah.
Well, that's another reason.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
But, yeah, Greinke was like, they told me I didn't have to be here till, like, this day at the latest, so I just didn't come until then.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But Bud,
yeah.
This is the kid that doesn't talk about football. The way I would put my feelings on that is it's kind of like the Newman situation.
Yeah, well,
this is a show me year.
Yeah, but you can't. The Pirates obviously still have it's different structures.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's why I said I think that the Steelers putting the tag on Bud, it could benefit both sides, because as we saw, the salary cap goes up every year, but we're talking about a huge jump potentially next season. This year, obviously, there's nothing done with the CBA, but assuming that what we see,
and assuming we're not killed off by the coronavirus.
True. I'm going just based off what I see off Twitter, and if that holds true, they're talking about $240 million cap for 2021, which is a difference of about $40 million. At that point, you can take care of guys that we're worrying about. Should we pay Bud for, because you have the dollars that need to be paid to T.J. Watt, which, you got to hand him a blank check and say, what do you want?
Absolutely.
Yeah, him and Minka need to be like lifetime Steelers.
There's nothing you can really do. You got to pay him whatever it dictates, and I think that's why I personally have said I would give him an extension now. I see why you're not with everything going on with the CBA, but I just think that price tag should keep rising, and the market is going to keep rising too. But I get why there's nothing done there yet. They're waiting for the new CBA and everything like that, and the Steelers don't typically do extensions like that before they need to. They still have the 5th-year option on Watt and everything. So, but I brought it up on the last show. What's interesting is it's not getting talked about a lot, but Juju's not under contract after next season. So, and that's another guy that would you like to see the Steelers kind of like buy low on after what he did last season? But at the same time, he's probably not signing that, knowing that he's actually getting a quarterback this season. For both sides, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I guess, to sign an extension. But for me personally, believing that he is going to bounce back, I would love it if they somehow got him to sign a team-friendly deal because of the lack of production last year.
Yeah,
I just don't see it happening. He has no reason to sign an extension, and the Steelers could be thinking, well, what if we have Deontay Johnson? What if we feel like he's the number one? What if we draft another receiver this season? You have James Washington, obviously. Like, what if Juju doesn't bounce back from last season?
Yeah, I probably seem like a Juju fanboy on Twitter, but I've said, man, I really think the media is going to drive him out of the city, because are we
going to Phil Kessel him?
It's so weird, because you see the way that
win a Super Bowl in his first year with another team.
I'm gonna we know that there's obviously some fans that are falling into that same boat, with Mark Madden and everything like that. But I would say
they're all burners. Come on.
I would say, generally speaking, the relationship with the fan base is fantastic for Juju, as well as the organization. So if you're just talking about media, I'm not saying it's unprecedented. We have seen it before where it's driven guys away. But it's such a shame, because they're not the ones paying your checks.
Well, Ian, okay, so you don't listen to Pat McAfee's show, obviously.
No, I watch Twitter clips.
But, he asked Juju about – well, he didn't even ask him. He gave him advice. He said, listen, I understand that people, the media there – he calls them old white yinzers, is what he says.
old whites, yeah.
But he said, if people are going to hate on you for, marketing yourself, he said, you're a fucking genius.
Yeah.
He said, you don't understand, because Juju is so big on, YouTube and, social media and stuff. and that's why the media hates him because they're not used to a Steeler being like this. Because, I mean, I don't want to say like no one's really been like that before, but I mean, AB and Lev Bell were, but like
To an extent.
But like Juju does it in a positive fashion.
Yeah, Lev just sucks at rapping. AB is.
Yeah, but like
we've also seen like a transition to like Juju's part of the new type of culture. Like he's a different generation.
Yep.
And these
he
guys
is our generation.
Yeah. They market themselves. They have a huge presence on social media. And I think it's pretty naive for people to think it's just him. That's just the way that the world is trending. That's the way that that's the new culture. And
you know what I'm realizing?
What's that?
I'm sitting here doing this. He's in the NFL. We're the same age.
Yeah.
I feel like a failure.
That's the thing. He's younger than Deontay still. Like
I'm 7 years older than John Marino. How do you think I feel?
And that's oh wow, yeah. And that's another thing is like looking at how young he is, he could afford to sign like a short-term deal to try to rebound value and then sign another like
But then you run into the case of what happens if you get like really hurt.
Right.
Well, what makes me mad is I don't think it's a fair comparison cuz like someone look at Tom Brady on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's very active now.
Yeah.
And someone I think asked Mark Madden, I'm sure I've seen this.
Yeah.
They were like, "What Tom Brady is doing the same thing." And he was like, "Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowls." That is not
Doesn't
a
matter.
fair comparison.
Yeah.
Because Juju's been in the league. This is gonna be his 5th year, right, or 4th year?
Fourth year.
But like, look at the year he had. And like Mark Madden's whole thing was, well, he sucked last year. He was hurt half the year, and he had terrible quarterbacks throwing to him. No one did well last year offensively, really. I mean, Deontay Johnson did well,
and that honestly was all him. Like
Yeah.
I told Smitty last week. I mean, he knew by himself anyway. He had the most yards separation
what was that?
between the
What was that
defenders.
weird stat? Is that what it was?
Most yards of separation. Yeah, he also forced the most missed tackles, I believe.
That too.
Okay.
That was
So
absurd.
yeah, I mean, but I think that's the thing is like his game isn't as reliant on quarterback play.
Yeah. Juju,
With how crisp of a route runner he is,
yeah.
he's always open. He's a 24/7 gas station.
Yeah.
But like Juju
Wow.
has to like he's I don't want to say he's like a jump ball specialist, but he's got strong hands.
He's aggressive.
He's a contested catch type guy.
You wouldn't be able to tell because people in Pittsburgh think he fumbles everything.
He's fumbled
It's
what,
just
3 times?
2.
3 times. It was 3. It was. I thought it was 3 times last year or twice.
No, I'm saying in his career, he
Oh.
fumbled the game against the Saints 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year against the Ravens, does he have another fumble other than that?
I don't think so. And then,
Yeah, I don't think so.
but like, that the last play of the season last year, where it nipped the top of his finger. People are calling that a drop.
That was against the Jets. That was the second to last week, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I remember I argued with someone on Twitter. I was like, you cannot call that a drop.
Yeah.
That was a terribly thrown ball. Yeah, if it hits you, like the rule of thumb is if it hits you in the hands, you're supposed to catch it.
That's said by somebody that never played football. In
The
their
rule
life.
doesn't apply if it hits you in the fingertips. And like that's the thing is like every time he puts a video of him like working out, everyone's like, "Oh, don't drop the dumbbells."
By the way, he's massive now.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah, whoever said if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch. That was, I mean, even receivers have said, yeah, that person didn't play football.
Yeah,
Like,
that's like saying like anytime a ball hits your glove in baseball, you should catch it.
I mean, look at,
Arguably.
there are literally receivers who can't catch,
Dante Moncrief.
and you're drafting them just hoping that they figure it out,
Yeah.
or accepting that they drop the ball because of the separation that they get, how fast they are. I mean, it's insane, but
People don't
it is what
understand.
it is. Okay, so a couple other things to talk about. I did delete some stuff because it would have been pointless, and we're already running pretty
We're
long
already
with
an
the-
hour and a half.
Yeah. So,
Every time I'm on here, it's a hella long episode.
well, actually, typically, we
Well,
don't
my
have, like, an
dumbass
interview,
took
but-
up 5 minutes saying Josh Donaldson is on the Twins.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
It was.
The Saints put a first-round tender on Taysom Hill, which means
Yes.
they are talking extension anyway,
Yeah.
so it might be a moot point. But if a team were to sign Hill,
Mute point?
huh?
Did you say mute point?
Moot.
Oh, they said
You
mute.
did say mute.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
No.
You
Josh
said-
Donaldson
You
sounds
said
fun.
vacation. You said vacation weird. Did you say vacation earlier?
Vocation.
I don't have to go back and listen, or they could tell us.
I think you said
They? Who's they?
It was right. It was right before Jared got on, and I was gonna be like vacation.
Oh, that was. Wait, yeah, that was.
Oh,
before
when
we
I was talking about
recorded.
Beefy being on vacation. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you said it
He
again.
says it weird.
Vacation.
He says it the Beaver County way.
Vacation?
Yeah, vacation.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess I just I throw it all together like real. Yeah,
See,
real
it's funny
fast.
for me because there absolutely is a Beaver County accent.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, see, there's like
And
I say
You say Pello.
the Cincinnati football team.
Bengals.
I say it like it's an A instead of an E.
I do too.
Like
Bengals.
I say Bengals.
like the wrist thingies that girls used to wear in like
Yeah.
kindergarten.
Anyway, so Taysom Hill,
Sorry.
first round tender. I guess I don't know if this is like we don't think that anybody would give him a contract like
But
that
if
or
they
like
do.
even give up a first round pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've kind of talked about Taysom Hill. It's a shame Beefy's not here to talk about Taysom Hill. But
Boo.
Oh no,
I
it's not
think-
like it's not going to happen next week.
I think that he's like perfect in the role that he's in. I don't think that he's an actual quarterback. But
Beefy
I
fights
don't
you
think
from
that you
across the
give up.
country.
I don't think you give up a first round pick for that type of guy. So
I think he could be. No, he wouldn't be like elite, but I think he'd be a serviceable quarterback. If that's
He
what
would
he
be
focused
better
on.
than Mason Rudolph.
I just
Yeah.
well, he would add a new element to the offense for sure.
Yeah.
But the dude has like 11 pass attempts. Like I just don't get like.
How many are completed though?
It's
Well,
just,
that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
I mean, he literally does everything. So why on earth would he? That was my point. I was like, why would you just focus on being a quarterback
Yeah.
when you're so good at literally everything?
When you can
else?
play special teams, you had more receiving touchdowns than OBJ.
Well, in that case, same thing goes for Tom Brady in a different way. Why would you go somewhere else if you have it made for you in New England?
I don't think he should go anywhere else.
I think he should hang him up because we talk about it all the time.
You know, you
It-
should hang him up. Philip Rivers.
Yeah,
We talk about it all the time where
Jameis Winston.
guys tend to play too long and then they kind of diminish some of what they accomplished.
Yeah.
And obviously the 6 Super Bowls aren't going away or
Whoops,
anything
I
like
played
that.
with the wrong one.
The 6 Super Bowls aren't going away or anything like that.
It was like a demon just came.
But I
Bro,
thought like
I
somebody
didn't-
like slammed a plate down or
I
something.
thought the world was ending.
Whoops. Also, Jameson getting LASIK. He's going to be an elite quarterback next
And
season.
he had a broken thumb on his
I don't
throwing finger, and he also had a torn meniscus. Like
What?
he got trimmed. Yeah,
One guy who I think played too long was Eli. I think he
yeah,
played.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to end
Two
up being a backup, like that's just sad to see for a 2-time.
He
Super
played
Bowl
too
winner.
long, and the Giants also got shitty real quick.
Was it you guys who said that it was either you guys or Pat? I know it's a hugely different.
Yeah, that
person.
is. Whew.
But one of you two said that like if Eli wouldn't, people's opinion on Eli, because everyone is so like short-minded, it's like everyone views him because the last 2
It
years.
might have been both because I know I mean I say
Yeah.
that about every like I was getting at is you see guys play too long and
It was both.
recency bias will always come into play there.
Yeah.
I mean if Ben comes back and isn't Ben, that's going to be the same way, especially with what you're paying him. Like
Yo, yeah.
so I don't know. I mean.
I'm going to make sure these 2 sliders are down all the way.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. I mean, look at we're talking about the Saints. Look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees was not that great last year,
I don't get why he's coming back.
and he was
man.
bad in the playoff game. They
Yeah.
would have won. He lost in that game. They would have won if Taysom Hill was their quarterback in that game,
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater.
or
Well,
Teddy Bridgewater.
And like you think about
Teddy
it this way
Bridgewater.
too. It's like obviously everyone's ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
but it's like you're Philip Rivers, bud. Listen, I hate to break it to you, it's not happening
Yeah.
unless he like signs with like the Patriots as a backup and Tom Brady's his quarterback. That's the only shot he's going to have. He doesn't bring something to the table. That
Not
you're
even the
missing.
Ravens?
No.
Ooh.
He doesn't
It's-
bring something to the table that's going to push them to get a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not going to like have
The
some
man can't throw.
that's it's
Like,
dude,
it's
if you
arguably
ever-
worse than Peyton.
No, watch
Here we
Phillip
go about the
Rivers-
highlights.
Dude, I'm telling you, watch Philip Rivers highlights on YouTube. They're just the most accurate throws you'll ever. Nothing's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that like
He's average.
if you're not gonna make a push to get that ring, why are you putting your body through that again? Just hang him up. You
Well, what's
had a-
funny is he's kind of
Hey.
talked about that.
Maybe he's waiting to get a vasectomy on the field.
He has said that he doesn't expect to sign with a team that's going to get.
Everybody just
That has a
ignored my
chance at a
joke.
ring.
Thank you.
I like didn't know how to process it.
Thank you for ignoring it.
'Cause I can only imagine someone getting hit that hard. I'm well, but yeah, I mean, if he wants to be a mentor, that's fine. But
Mhm.
I think you would do that better as like a quarterback coach.
If I'm the Chargers right now, I'm going out and getting Teddy Bridgewater, and you might actually have a chance.
Yeah.
Well, like you just mentioned, about being a mentor or something. I've also seen, 2 things that could kind of tie in with Philip Rivers. One, I'll just mention this real quick, is Austin Eckler got an extension.
Yes, he did.
4 years, $24.5 million with $15 million guaranteed.
So Gordon's
That-
gone.
That's a good running back contract.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like, that is the type of contract that you give to a running back. You don't shell out the $90 million. Also, I just got a Snapchat notification that Tim and Donato started a group called Around the North Shore Clothing Company. So,
That sucks.
but anyway, that is the type of contract that I would be willing to hand out to a running back, because we talked about not paying running backs and everything like that. Also, this ties in as well because ESPN is offering Peyton Manning $18 to $20 million, and their backup plan would be to try to lure Phillip Rivers into retirement.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So, talking about Phillip Rivers' playing days maybe being over, if they're going to pay him $18 to $20 million and a team's not, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Not to say that they would give him the exact same amount of money they're willing to pay Peyton Manning, but just saying if that's what they're willing to give Peyton Manning, I don't know what Phillip Rivers is trying to get in free agency, but
isn't Al Michaels about to be traded?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, we're about to see broadcasting done the same way as teams. We
Which
just see
is awesome.
I cannot believe it,
It's
dude.
amazing.
We'll give you Al Michaels for a 3rd-round pick.
And Booger McFarland, please take Booger away.
What does a 3rd-round pick mean?
How the hell does Booger still have a job?
I don't know.
He is terrible.
Yes.
I
could do a better job.
Is we make fun of that Trent Dilfer when he said you can't lose games in the NFL and still win.
Yeah.
And it's Booger McFarland says something like that every game that he does.
Every half.
Yeah.
Every half, without fail.
Oh, dude, I love whenever someone said on Twitter, whenever it was he walked up in with Patrick Mahomes, and he said, Pat, if you win this game, you're a Super Bowl champion.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the memes were hilarious and everything. They kind of got to be overboard, where it was these aren't even funny anymore because everything ends up getting like that, especially on Twitter. But yeah, there was an account even Booger McFarland, evil Booger McFarland or something like that, and it was funny the first 3
Booger
tweets I saw
McFarland's
from
ego.
him. Yeah, it was funny
My
the first
God.
3 tweets that I saw from them. But yeah, it just gets to a point where it's not even funny anymore. But anyway, ESPN is looking for somebody to try to, match what Tony Romo brings to CBS. So
Tony Romo's so good.
What if what company is Peyton with right now? Nationwide. What if Nationwide was in a bidding war with ESPN?
I mean, he could do both. I don't think that would.
Yeah.
Unless it's his contract that he can't.
Yeah. You mentioned Pat Mahomes. It was pretty insane. I don't know if you guys saw that Twitter clip. He was on that HBO show, The Shop or whatever, takes place in a barbershop.
Oh,
where he said, I don't know how the conversation came about.
Is that LeBron show?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a real short clip that I saw. I didn't see the full conversation or anything like that. But, yeah, he said he just learned how to read defenses halfway through last year.
That's stupid.
So he said,
what?
he knows what concepts look like and everything like that.
How can someone be so talented?
I guess, yeah, he threw 50 touchdowns before he learned how to read a defense in the NFL.
Worst brother of all time.
Andy Reid is a maniac.
We're not talking about this was in high school or college where he wasn't knowing how to read a defense, or Mitch Trubisky who didn't know what a hard count was until he got to the NFL. Yeah, but
Did you not know that?
No.
he was on. It's kind of embarrassing because it happened on TV where people found out because he was on Gruden's QB camp, and he was like, "Show me your best hard count." And he's like,
right.
"I don't know what that is."
Imagine choosing him over Pat Mahomes
And Deshaun Watson, they could have had either
and
one.
Lamar.
But yeah, well, that was a different year, but because Baker Mayfield was taking the same year as Lamar,
I'm an
following
idiot.
year.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, it's just crazy to think of what this guy's already accomplished, and now he's going to be able to read defenses next year.
What if he just sucks?
He's like, I need to forget what I know.
He's like, wait, I can read them too well now. I don't know where
He's
It's
to
gonna
go.
be like the SpongeBob thing where he throws everything out and then they're looking for stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
What's
he's
his
gonna
name?
want that to happen.
We threw out his
He
name.
threw out his talent.
Okay, and then the last thing that I have for the NFL is a trade that went down between the Chargers and Panthers.
Oh, the most football trade of football trades.
I don't understand this,
I don't
honestly.
I don't know what happened.
Russell Okung for Trey Turner. Wait,
Yes,
there's
that Trey
actually
Turner.
another trade. I kind of ran both together. But I don't get this because Turner's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's only played 6 seasons.
Yeah.
He's a guard, which could be the reason that they did it, I guess. Russell Okung's back with one of his coaches. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's played much longer, but he's a left tackle. So I guess that the thought is we'd rather have the left tackle. We need to shore up that spot because that's the
Wait.
most important spot on the line.
Who
on the line
got
side.
whom?
So Trey Turner goes from Carolina to L.A., and Russell Okung goes from L.A. to Carolina. It's a 1-for-1 deal. No draft picks involved.
That's why I said the most football trades.
Turner's much younger, and he's made 3 more Pro Bowls already, but
Nice.
I don't know. I really didn't understand it, but I guess, if you're talking about team need and they feel like they can put somebody else in at guard, they need to tackle more. Makes sense, I guess. But yeah, it was just kind of But anyway, AJ Boye traded for a 4th-round pick. The Jaguars, you look at that defense from 2017 to now,
That's
it's completely
nuts, man.
gone.
I don't know if I brought it up last week because that happened after our show, right?
The
Yeah,
trade?
Yeah,
Yes,
Boye.
yeah.
Did you see Leonard Fournette's Instagram?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't here.
Dude, I feel bad for that guy. All his friends are gone now. Wait, so is there any talks with Jalen Ramsey with doing anything? Like signing anywhere?
No, he's not a free
He
agent.
has like
Oh,
another
he's not?
year or
Okay.
two left. Year.
I think it's just this year. Yeah, it's his 5th-year option.
Okay.
So
Ah,
the
I got
Jaguars
the years
exercised his
mixed up.
5th-year option before they traded him.
yeah.
Oh, that's why I was confused. Okay.
But yeah, Jalen Ramsey's gone, AJ Boye's gone, so obviously they got to be taking a cornerback with one of
Literally,
their first
that
two
entire
picks.
picture of the secondary when they played the Steelers and
Telvin
whipped their
Smith.
ass.
They were good.
Yeah.
I don't. What did they just lose? Like have one losing season? Was like, oh fuck it.
They are very
It was a lot.
they're very poorly ran,
That
and
and
that's where it starts.
You
I mean,
also have to remember the fact that they were fining people much more than the CBA allowed.
Oh. What are they going to do quarterback wise?
I think it's
Stick
gonna
with Minshew.
yeah, I think it's gonna be mentioned that you're just gonna have the highest paid backup.
Just stick with Minshew.
Dude, poor Nick Foles, man.
Hey, he'll get
that was
traded
there.
somewhere
I
else.
was fully against paying him something like that.
Yeah,
That's
that was
insane.
dumb.
I think
But
the
no
thing
one knew Gardner Minshew was going to be that good. I mean, he
No.
wasn't like great, but he
he's
was.
a 6th-round pick. Like the Steelers took Sutton Smith before him. Imagine if we would have taken Gardner Minshew and been able to have him last year.
I would have his jersey right now.
But I think that the thing with good organizations can withstand bad seasons, but a team like the Jaguars, who are so poorly ran, they had the 2018 that they had, and then 2019, and it's like everything we got to burn it down.
Yep.
Like in 2018 was like they literally played in the AFC Championship, and then we're done.
Is that when
Like
Allen
this.
Robinson was traded?
Compare it to the no, he was traded before that.
Yeah.
Compare that to the Ottawa Senators in 2017.
No, that's Matt Duchene.
No,
Matthew
but I'm saying
Shaker.
I know.
you're one
Oh no, I know.
thing away from being the championship.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And that one thing was not having Matt Duchene on your roster.
And Chris Kunitz scoring a goal.
Yeah, they were playing that team should have. If that team would have made the cup, I'd have been so mad.
Yeah.
If I'm an Ottawa Senators fans, I hate Chris Kunitz.
The Predators would have 4-0'd them in the cup.
I hate Matt Duchene.
He was supposed to be a Penguin, wasn't he?
yeah.
Everybody was supposed to be a Penguin, man.
That's true.
We could go back to so many. Like Bobby Ryan's on the team right now. At one point, he was supposed to be a Penguin.
Good for him though.
Yeah.
Good for him though.
So, okay, last thing to talk about is obviously the NHL. The Metro Division standings have seen a little bit of a shake-up. The Flyers are kind of like right there.
We're really about to have a 2-hour episode because
They
of
will
this.
be, they'll be tied in points if they win tonight after Washington beat the Penguins in regulation today. So as of right now, if the playoffs started, we'd be playing Philly in Philly.
I was at work today. Was it bad, the game today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had, I think by the time it ended, 13 odd man rushes. The Capitals did.
Every time a defenseman pitched,
Yeah.
it was an odd man rush. I have never seen a hockey team, and this goes for the Leafs this year too, look more like a fire drill than they did today.
Damn.
It was bad.
There's fire in your eyes right now.
I was mad.
Yeah.
So Penn's Chronicle is probably
was
having
a-
a field day.
Oh,
right now.
he had to have been having a field day. Letang pinched 4 or 5 times in the first period alone, where it was 3-on-1 the other way.
Yeah, and I mean, see that the thing is too. Yeah, it's a mistake, and after it happens a couple times, it should be cleaned up. But I have trouble not giving credit to the Capitals too. I mean, they were
Yeah.
every opportunity that they had, they
Yep.
took advantage of it.
Exactly.
You don't see every single time that somebody pinches it go the other way for an odd man rush, but today you did.
Yeah. And I mean, and that it's not just on Letang. It's not just on Jack Johnson. It's not on.
I think
on the
every.
blue
I
line.
don't think there was a good defenseman on the ice for the Penguins today.
Pedersen and Marino weren't terrible.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't think that they were good.
Yeah.
I think that they were average
yeah, they were
at
serviceable.
best.
The forwards, everyone but that Crosby line was bad.
There was
The
no.
entire third line, the third pairing and the third line, got their shit pushed in.
Well, that's what I was just saying, and that's and you. It's almost like not even talking about. Yeah, they weren't good offensively, obviously too, but there was just no defensive responsibility today from
Yeah.
the forwards either. I mean, it was just a bad game overall. Murray was hung out to dry a lot,
On the
obviously.
first 3 goals,
But-
for
Your
sure.
tweets were pretty funny.
But that's the thing is like, could he have from around 4-2?
It was like
Both.
anything happened. You're like, this wouldn't have happened if Jari.
Oh, yeah. I was making a joke.
Oh my god.
Every time Jarry lets in a goal, I'm just going to tweet, "Where's your God now?"
The thing is
So
like,
annoying, man.
Murray by no means Murray would have had to have stolen the game today for them to win, which he
Yeah.
obviously didn't do. I'm not going to sit here and say that he played good. Like I said, I don't think that really I could sit here and say anybody played good on the
Yeah.
team. You're looking at maybe some guys were okay, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because they play again tomorrow afternoon. Why is it in the afternoon? The Penguins
Chalk it up.
they don't wake up
No.
for at least 20 minutes.
I was gonna ask you, man. It's because it's been like this for a while.
I don't know what their record is. I'd have to go back and I don't even know how to
'Cause
look.
It's
I remember
bad.
even the years that we won. If it was an afternoon game, like even in the playoffs, we're like, all right, well, series is 3-1.
Yeah.
But no, so obviously we're going to see Jari tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to speculate on what could happen, but things could get interesting if Jari, what if he pitches a shutout against Carolina? Does he get the next game? I mean, you're trying to find who the guy is going to be going into the playoffs, and when Murray gets 3 straight starts, it's pretty telling of who they'd like it to be.
Yeah.
But if Jari, goes out and steals the show
Well,
tomorrow against Carolina,
Murray didn't look bad the past 2 games.
no,
At all.
I mean, you could argue that they only won that game against Buffalo because of the second period he had.
Yeah. And not to revert the conversation back 2 minutes, but it's the same thing with the Leafs. How can anybody that watches those games like today
Mhm.
and go, "Oh yeah, it's on the goalie."
Are they played today already?
Well, no, the Penguin game.
Oh, okay.
How can anybody watch that and go, "Oh yeah, it's on Murray"?
Because fans
What-
are stupid.
What is he supposed to
It's-
do? There's 5 pylons in front of
Listen,
him.
I love, like I've said, baseball will always be like in my heart my favorite sport, but hockey is like my favorite sport to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I keep thinking I can't swear on this show.
Fuck.
I've been on here 8 times. I don't know this by now.
We're in my house though.
That's,
I'm kidding.
that's true.
I'm screaming.
But no,
there are small children
I
here.
effing hate hockey fans.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's either they're complaining that someone's not scoring enough, so they think they suck. It's comparing literally everything, or it's just bitching about nothing.
I think what it
Yeah.
comes
So
down
annoying.
to is too many people don't understand the process of hockey.
Yeah.
And when you look at it as a casual fan, all that you're seeing is the goalie's the last line of defense.
Yes.
And if a puck goes in their net, they should have stopped it. And I think that, for the most part, every goal you can say that the goalie could have stopped the puck.
Yeah.
But should have is much different. And nobody ever wants to give credit to the guy shooting the puck either. Or the guy passing the puck to the guy shooting it that has a completely open cage after the pass.
So to play devil's advocate as somebody who loves Brian Dumoulin, and
Oh, he was bad today.
and
Oh,
hates
God.
Jack Johnson, that first goal for the Capitals. How in God's name do you think it's a good idea to go behind the,
first-
net
oh,
the
yeah.
opposite
Okay.
way of where the man is?
I had to try to think about
that.
visuals.
That was a Jack Johnson move. I've seen Jack Johnson do that plenty of times and not get scolded for
Dude,
it.
I saw that one where he just bent down in front of Murray and didn't play the pass at all. Johnson did.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, what the hell? are
That
you
was
doing,
the
man?
4th goal.
Yeah.
The second goal, Letang pinched. Malkin couldn't get back in time. Murray's hung out to dry. Oh well. Third goal.
The third goal was the one I
or-
think he's talking about. Cause
Yeah, that was the third goal.
Yeah.
That was Schultz got. I don't know where Schultz was. He was the 4th man back.
He thought it was 2017 again.
I'm telling
Well.
you, man, Justin Schultz is starting to be right there with Jack
He's back to Edmonton.
He's just Jack now.
Johnson. I'm saying
No,
I
I
put him
know,
on the
but
same level.
He's calling him Jack now.
yeah.
He's about to
Well,
be
we
the
try
man who
not
should
to say
be
his name
named.
on here.
Yeah.
Dude, that was pretty funny last week with Jeff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's after last week. We're trying not to say
He
his
who
name.
shall not be named.
Voldemort.
So that's a good thing to bring up, by the way. There are people who don't understand and get mad. There are people like me that get frustrated.
Yeah.
There's a fine line, though.
There is a fun because, I'm frustrated too because, here's what I was talking to Beefy about. And I'm sorry that I'm bringing up Prince Chronicle here for a second. But
Fuck them.
I can watch a hockey game and I can understand, you know what, today, I almost said today. But Letang played poorly today.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's a bad defenseman.
No.
That's like I get in an argument with my roommate Tom because he hates Matt Murray. Hates him.
Oh, yeah, we know this.
But I've said to him, I'm like, it's possible. Fathom this for a second.
Yeah.
It's possible for someone to be a good player
Mhm.
and play poorly sometimes.
Yeah.
But hockey fans
No,
can't realize that.
And I try to respect everybody's opinion, and I think that a lot of it comes down to being able to view things in different schemes, in the bigger picture, smaller picture, at the same time.
Not in a
Like
vacuum.
if you watch today's game, I think it's obviously you're frustrated. In the time, you might even say something like "this guy sucks," but you don't actually mean that. But there's people that literally play by play, shift by shift, game by game, whatever it might be. Their opinion of a guy can completely change within 30 seconds.
You and Beefy make fun of me, but it took a tweet of mine to change my opinion about Simone.
Yeah.
Like, and it's I laugh about it now, but it's like you guys literally put it in perspective to me. Like, listen, man, because I think you guys said like watch him, just watch a shift of him, and then I did, and I was like, okay. And it took me a little bit to get to understand what you guys are coming from, but like you said, it's like if you watch a guy, you can tell if they're bad or not.
Yeah, and once again, I just think it comes down to how people are able to view the entire landscape of hockey. Not everybody's able to look at things and break it down to the process that it takes to score a goal. All they see is the shot that goes in the net. They don't see the plays that are being made. People talk about the third assist, and Dom Simone gets a lot of those. It doesn't count on the scoreboard, but like a play that he might make on the wall to get it back to a defenseman who then sets up somebody else, who sets up somebody else, and the puck goes in the back of the net. That play was started by a guy that isn't on the score sheet for it.
That's how I feel about Patrick Marleau right now. He's not
Patrick Marleau. Yeah, I don't think he's played bad. I think they might be a little in over their heads having him play on the second line. But he's had a lot of chances.
Yeah, he's creating like here's sorry, but I didn't get to tell you this, but like okay, so whenever Galchenyuk was here, his big thing was it looked like he was afraid to shoot the puck. It was like he was afraid to mess up.
Yeah,
dude, Marleau, his first shift had 2 shots.
Yeah,
it's like he's creating
same thing with Jason Zucker. Like those guys are just shooting the puck whenever they can.
Also, Marlowe's been an absolute monster on the forecheck, and he's been killing penalties.
Which is weird. He had like 8 seconds of average penalty kill time,
and he hasn't been bad either.
It's a good. That was a very good pickup. I might be because I know like Jeff said last week that he thinks that Marleau will be a healthy scratch. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think Rodriguez is going to be the healthy
I think
scratch.
It's going to be
Scratch.
Simone.
You think? He drives the play so well with Sid, but he drives the play so well on the third line.
Here's what I said to Beefy. Look, if you compare him and Sherry, which one of those two needs Sid more?
Oh, Sherry.
Sherry, exactly. But then if you put it like that, you can't put Sherry anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, well then why did you trade Cahoon for him?
Yeah.
So if it comes down to Simone, he doesn't like who you going to start him in like the last 3 lines. You can make a case for him, but
I think I'm not necessarily saying that it's what I would do, and you can see things change obviously, but I think Simone will be scratched, and I think that the reason is when Zach Aston Reese comes back, you're going to want to put him back with Tanev and Bluger, unless somebody shows up on that line and they play the exact same way. We just haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen a line formed like those 3 that are defensively shutting teams down the way that those 3 were.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that the loss of Zach Aston Reese
is
to
huge.
this point has been understated.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because I understand that he's not what he brings offensively leaves a lot to be desired, but I think a lot of people are really underestimating how good that line was at shutting teams down.
Yeah.
And
they still were able to score.
What they were doing. Yeah, I mean it wasn't necessarily him putting the puck in the back of the net, but like Tanev and Bluger both could be double-digit goal scorers this year.
Yeah.
So
dude,
plus
Tanev never skates, by the way, with a stick on the ice. It's so funny. It's always up in the air.
Plus, on top of how great that line was defensively, they were playing with the Marino Johnson pairing. I did not know how good of a puck mover John Marino was until he came back.
That was that was the good old days when we were winning all the time.
A week ago.
That fourth line is like to me is like the epitome of what you want a fourth line to be.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what it was when we were winning cups. It's like that's what the fourth line was there for.
The only thing I'll say today is watching that game, part of me does wish we kind of had a Kyle Clifford that can still play hockey and kind of hurt people. Like not hurt people, but like bruise them.
Ryan Reeves.
Ryan Reeves cannot play hockey. I'm sorry.
He led what was it? Like a couple years ago, he led the league in playoff scoring. I'm not kidding.
Oh, yeah, the Disney team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm calling them the Disney team.
Okay, so a couple injuries to kind of wrap things up. Brett Pesce's out for the year for Carolina, so
yeah, that was scary.
Those acquisitions for the defenseman.
Did you see that one?
Kind of makes sense. I did not actually.
He got his wrist slit.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like the 3rd time that's happened this season.
On purpose?
No.
Chris Kreider and James Van Riemsdyk are both out 4 to 6 weeks. Kreider's happened a little bit.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, longer ago. I think it's closing on 2 weeks since that happened.
Yeah.
But Van Riemsdyk was just the other night. So if we were to play them in the playoffs, he might not be there right away in the first round. Stamkos out 6 to 8. With his injury.
That's bad.
And this isn't like the first injury, obviously, that Stamkos has missed a considerable amount of time.
And the one that everybody's seen.
Yeah.
Johnny Boychuk.
Yeah.
I hate.
Did you hear the?
Well,
oh
thank
yeah,
God.
I told you.
He was able to close his eye.
I hated that.
He had 90 stitches
like
on
his
his
eyelid.
eyelid.
He's gonna come back looking like Midas in Fortnite.
That's something I've never heard before.
Dude, that was I hate watching that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it just
Well, no, because I didn't see it. I literally opened Twitter and hit home to go to the top, and I saw Shannon's tweet, and I was like, oh.
Dude, like there are some things that I see I don't even like to like even think about, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Because it's so scary.
Well, that's the second or third time this season that somebody's been kicked with the skate.
I didn't know that.
There have been multiple. Like I said, there have been 3 or 4 times that wrists have been slashed with skates. And, you need protection, and it's a good thing they haven't had an issue so far for all these years, really, since Clint Malarchuk. Really, I'm saying really
I'm
a
like
lot.
thinking about it. I'm like cringing.
But like, they said it on Steve's podcast this past week or the past episode. What is it going to take for you to actually protect your players? The problem is you don't want to think about it because it's that bad.
Yeah, like hockey's not like football, where it's like it's a human being. You can kind of control.
Yeah.
Except the Myles Garrett thing, that could have been a lot worse.
Well,
but that's like for the most part, it's like it's a helmet, but you still have pads. Hockey, there's variables. There's sticks and there's skates and
like
pucks.
in the NFL, you're going to break bones. You're going to tear things.
Like
stuff like that happened to Alex Smith and Joe Theismann.
Yeah.
That's 1 in a million, or
Like,
one every like 20 years or whatever.
I was at the game when Ian Cole got a slap shot in the face, and I remember looking and I forget who I was there with, but I said that must fucking suck.
Yeah.
And then he was like not fine, but he was like posting pictures on Instagram like an hour later.
And look at Giancarlo Stanton when he played for the Marlins, getting smashed in the face by Mike Fiers.
Yeah. Mike Fiers did that?
Yeah.
Well, how about when Ryan Malone took a shot to the nose and broke his nose?
Yeah.
And then came back in the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's like when it comes
But
to
he's
safety.
probably a coach, so.
When it comes to safety, though, it's like in hockey, it's so you don't want to think about it because there are so many you can't control.
You literally have weapons on your feet.
Yeah, and it's like people can be bad at hockey and not know how to shoot a puck, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Or they could know how to shoot and just want to hurt you.
like every year, just read the list of injuries that happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even just for the Penguins and the
Who had a collapsed lung a couple years ago? It was like Cedric Paquette or Braden Point or something. It was a bolt.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, somebody was playing with a collapsed lung.
I think I heard about that. I don't know.
But
Okay.
Yeah.
The last thing I have here is I don't know if you guys realize what Leon Draisaitl's doing this year.
Oh, dude.
He has 110 points, and second would be his teammate Connor McDavid with 95.
Draisaitl has to be the MVP, right?
So, I mean, that's what you say. Is he the MVP?
How is that team not bad? Oh, they won good.
I think they did very well at the deadline. I think they're going to do very well in that Western
They
Conference.
are. So right now they would be playing Calgary in the first round of the playoffs. But I mean, they're only 2 points back of Vegas for the top spot in their division with one less game played.
Yeah, but they're a decent bit behind the Blues in Colorado, right? Like 5 points or something.
Yeah, they're 10 points behind St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
8 points behind Colorado.
Wow.
So, yeah, not necessarily the top overall seed in the West, but if they're either probably going to be playing, one of their teams in their division, either Golden Knights or Calgary, or Vancouver. So,
Vancouver would be an interesting one. Calgary, they're going to make easy work of.
Calgary, I would love that series though.
Oh,
because you're
Zach
getting
Kassian would
the
have a field
Kassian
day.
to Chuck rivalry getting heated up for potentially 7-game series.
Is it Kachuk or is it just Chuck? Because apparently in Calgary they just call him Chuck.
Really?
Yeah.
I would guess that's just a nickname, but
Well, no, the announcers were saying Chuck.
Announcers also called Connor Sherry.
Well, I'm still calling him Sheary no matter what. Ow.
But yeah, I mean, so this kind of goes back to like last year with Kucherov. Like, is a guy having that many points automatically winning the MVP, or do you look at a guy like, say, the Rangers make the playoffs with Artemi Panarin having like the 4th highest total?
See, I'm on board with that.
But being a team that you feel like isn't there if that player's on the team, because Edmonton, take Leon Draisaitl off the team, they still have Connor McDavid. Take Connor McDavid off the team, they still have Leon Draisaitl.
But he dragged that team through that McDavid injury. Literally, he put the team on his back. He had like 10 goals in 6 games.
Like Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
Yes, like Greg Jennings. Greg Jennings.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not even saying. I mean, he is obviously going to be a finalist.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more so trying to figure out who you think the 3 finalists would be if the season ended today.
If the Rangers make the playoffs, it'll be Panarin for sure.
I think you have.
I don't know if they put McDavid in if Draisaitl's in.
I don't think you can.
Yeah,
I don't think that you can have 2 guys from the same team.
Yeah, it's not really fair.
I think that it would be Draisaitl. For me, you'd probably be one of the Boston guys.
Patrick Kane, 82 points.
Yeah.
Ooh.
For me, I mean, look at
Pasta,
Pasta is having an insane season,
Pasta?
especially
Pasternak.
David Pasternak.
Call him pasta?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his nickname.
Huh.
But And then obviously, like McKinnon would be right there. The Avalanche are going to make the playoffs this year. They might be the top seed in the West. So
I hope they are.
just give it
I
to
have money
him.
on that.
I
like
said I
McKinnon.
think that they're gonna. I think that they're my pick for the West.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Obviously, like I said, it goes back to last year. You could go so many different directions. Is it the highest point total? Is it the guy that you think that team isn't there without? Because the way that it's worded, most valuable player should lean that way.
Yeah.
However, we've seen it go with just the guy that has the highest point total.
Well, you also the NHL is different where you have somebody who wins a title for
Right.
the most points,
Mhm.
when in the MLB you don't.
Mhm.
Like you have a home run title, but there's more that goes into baseball than home runs.
And there have been times where two different guys have won those awards. So there's a precedent for both things happening.
We have
but
30
yeah.
seconds.
We have 30 seconds. All right, well, that about wraps it up. One more time, I want to tell you guys about Kate's Barbershop. Kate's Barbershop is located at 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA. It's an old-fashioned barbershop, and every Tuesday he does $5 off for military personnel, first responders, nurses. Every Tuesday through Friday, he's open 11 to 7, and Saturday he's open 9 to 4. Head down to Kate's Barbershop. Christian will cut you up, 180 Brighton Avenue, Rochester, PA. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
All the walls, rip 'em down, rip 'em down.